Okay. So somebody just commented on the video I made of, well, the clip of Ben and Grace, like where Ben gets really mad at Grace when she's talking to Ruby, and he comes in and like says that the content sucks and everything like that. And someone put in the comments, YouTube recommended this for some reason. Thank you, YouTube. This is the funniest shit I've seen all week. I always like it when the Thorp stuff gets put like out into the YouTube world and like people that aren't familiar with it see it. All right, so what happened in Thorpeville yesterday? Grace and Ben did a very vibe stream at a cemetery to mourn the loss of the Ruby arc. Ruby did a live stream. I think it was only like 30 minutes long, but she did a live stream. And oh, hold on. Hello? Well, wait a minute. My mic's messing up. Hello? That might be better. Okay. So Ruby went on to kill stream. What else happened? I think that might be it. I don't. Oh, John Galt this morning did a segment looking at one of Grace's speed dating episodes. So I'll grab that. I'll grab that segment whenever this is over. But I think that's it. But still, for one day, that's quite a bit of content. I really liked the cemetery stream. I didn't get a chance to watch all of it, but I really liked I like the visuals of it, so I'm looking forward to it. So I thought we would dive into the Ruby bridge burning arc, which is going to take a long ass time because there's a lot of content. But I thought we'd start here, and I at least want to watch this stream, not today, but like before we end the review of the stream. I want to get at least to the point where Lalo comes on, because I feel like up until that point, it's like during the fallout of the Ben comment about not being a wife and a mother. So I want to at least get to that point. But if we get to the point with the panel where it makes sense to keep watching, then we will. Otherwise, we'll switch to the next stream and segment. How's it going, Wilmar? The bridge burning arc, yeah. Well, everybody wants the landlord arc to be next, at least in the Discord. I don't know. I mean, it's fun to say bridge burning and stuff like that, but I don't think the Ruby bridge is really burned. And even like the Ava bridge, can that really be burnt? Can people really stay away from Thorp TV? Like, I don't think so. All right. Sorry. So this is at Ruby's place. Ben, amazing vibe here in his suit, just chilling out on the couch. But anyway, here we go. This is a great stream. I thought this was a really fun stream. So let's dive in and begin. We'll start right before, I thought this thing, it just makes sense to start with the Ben comment about the wife and mother. So that's why I'm picking this one. Even though I guess technically you could maybe go back and find breadcrumbs getting us to this point. But I feel like this was kind of the touchstone point that really kick-started this whole arc. Time for a rip, oof, yeah. I got well, it's in the wrong container. I hate weed that comes in the envelope. I don't know if you guys buy legal weed, but if you buy legal weed, sometimes it comes in like an envelope, like a little packet. I hate that, so I put it into these things. But I'm smoking Black Cherry Gelato. So let's get going. It's, to me, every stream in this series is Kino, but I really like this one.
Good one.
I don't know if it's a good court story. It's a weird court story.
Yeah. Let me know if you guys can hear both of us, by the way. We got Ruby's kitty. Hi, kitty. Ruby, do you have a phone holder? It's fine if you...
And of course, good morning to the Thorps, who power this entire A-log ecosystem. Yes, you do. It sucks. I hate it. Like I only pay like $20 an eighth typically, but like still, it just sucks to have to, like, when you lose shit in the envelope, especially if you ever buy Shake. Shake's the worst in an envelope. I hate it.
You don't? Do I need to get one from the RV? Like a
I do actually, yeah.
a phone stand. Do you
Yes.
have one of those? Okay.
Yo,
'Cause it'll just give
what's
us a-
up? We're live from my
Ruby's
lovely
here.
apartment, which is actually it's in good condition for how it normally is.
The
Like this
Thorps.
view right here is giving. Wait, what can they see?
The Thorps. No, they just said we moved in with you. Oh, yeah, we have a Ruby's.
We have legal grow here. I think you can grow up to, I don't know, like I think 4 plants, which you can kind of tinker with to get a bigger, to stay to the letter of the law, but more. But I live in a place where I can't grow. Unfortunately, I live in like a domicile where I can't grow.
Kitty.
Oh, here's Oreo. Oreo's extremely affectionate and loves a nice rough head tap.
Is that the male?
That's the female. The male's more skinny.
She wants to be a star. Hi, polyester jumper. Ben will never leave that couch now. Squatter's rights. My boy Ben got a suit on.
Is this what
Go.
you're talking about? Like this?
Yes,
Okay,
actually,
yeah.
yes.
Yes, it's kind of gross. But...
Wow, this is very retro.
How's it going, Amsterdam? Happier times? Yeah. Ben just cracks me up. Like, I think it's the fact that it's like the suit. It looks like he's just had like a really hard day at the office, and he just like came home and crashed.
I'm not sure what this is. Does it hold a phone?
That's a shower.
Chat.
Here.
I'm
wait,
lost.
It's like, okay. So this is the part that you put the phone in, it claps like that.
Oh,
And
I thought
this-
this was the. Oh, you put that on the table.
Is the
Yes,
clamp.
you can move this.
I
Like,
totally get that. That's actually
however.
perfect because then we can get a wide angle shot.
Awesome.
Ben looking sharp in his court attire.
Right? You both are looking.
What did Ruby
fashionista
do to
models.
deserve such a nice apartment? Guys, relax. Ruby deserves the world.
That was not evicted. Hallelujah.
She was not evicted. We're gonna make the most of that. If there's misinformation that she gave. Okay, hold on. Let me
Is
just-
that a? That's battery.
That's battery, yeah.
I thought it was a.
You want sugar or like stevia?
I like the dress Grace has on, but I think it's funny that in the comments a lot of the time, people will like say that it looks really dingy or or dirty, but I don't think that's the case. I don't. It says chat replay is on, but I'm not getting it. It's not coming up for me.
I like mine with sugar. Do you? Dad, my dad likes a little bit of sugar. not
She
too
likes
much.
it sweeter.
Okay. Ruby drinks black coffee because she's better than us.
One of them is an iced coffee though, because I only have one mug.
That's Grace.
Yeah, I like iced coffee.
Perfect.
Oh, this is gonna be a cool wide angle shot.
What's going on with the camera? Is that the Dalmatian dress? I feel like there's 2 kind of similar dresses, but I think so. Isn't this the dress she had on like during the cartwheel and the crab dance? I think. Let's get a look at Ruby's apartment here. She's got a big flag that says Bumble. Got a picture of her cat. I don't know what this t-shirt here is. We got some art pieces. I like this like recessed area right here. It kind of, if you just look at this section here and you kind of ignore the rest, it kind of looks like Ben is the sidekick. Well, I mean, on a talk show because of this plant or whatever, but yeah. I guess it's kind of true. Like it is a talk show. I really like this thing. Do I have it like framed fucked up? Okay, so it can come a little bit more down. But I like that, like Ben's sitting underneath of like a triangle that looks really cool. Especially with like the slope of the couch that he's on, but you can't really see it good from this angle.
This thing is sturdy. Okay. Hang on, chat. Let me plug in the extra camera.
The shaking of the camera reminds me of Wings of Redemption when he like gets his leg going and like the whole fucking setup starts going.
Do a lot of stuff to go over today.
Ruby, you know your chat's gonna wonder why you don't use that. to hold your camera.
Yeah, it turns out Ruby does have a phone stand. She was lying to us the whole time.
They're like, just
Oh,
prop
it's
it up against
fuzzy.
something, anything.
Like if I'm on my mobile phone, I like the mobility of it. I like
Yeah.
to move around. I like to
What was that? What was going on with that?
Yeah. It's definitely part of your brand.
Okay.
There we go.
This is the place
Big
Big
Ben
Ben
deserves
deserves
to
to
I
be.
like. I just not like that.
Okay. How does that look? Whoop. Did I press?
So the Yale stream is gone, right? At least in theory, it was deleted by YouTube or whatever. I guess Grace said that YouTube is still showing it at public. I think it's that one. There is so much good shit on that stream. It's like such a pity that it got lost. I was just thinking about it because of the camera angle there.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so this is I joined after this because I remember Ben being like really framed well under the triangle, but it was a keynote. It was such a good stream. It was such a good stream. There was like, not to be like a gooner, but there was like a long stretch where just for no reason at all other than for the gooners, like Grace put the camera on her chest and then just walked down the street. Like it was pretty awesome. Then you have the Fellowship of the Rings with the frisbee. You have the like meltdowns in the van. I did clip one of the things, one of the meltdowns.
Yes. That's what I was looking for. Nice wide angle.
Was it that? I'm pretty sure that's the stream that got taken down. I think. God, it was like a 20-hour stream. So much happened. It's like, did the Yale stuff happen on the same day that Grace had like the meltdown in the RV, like the big epic Dark Phoenix meltdown?
We're up in the 3rd floor. Oh. That's not anything.
Obviously, we're not.
Obvious.
I have that part, Wilmar. I have the panel. I have everything after 12 hours and like half an hour before the stream ends, but I just don't have the actual stream. For all the shit Ben's been saying about their apartment, the room's relatively clean. I think this room is clean, and I'm not knocking Ruby or anything, but I was watching Ruby. I think it was. Do you do an actual apartment tour on this? I think I was watching it with some other people, and like the one room was like cluttery. I don't think it was dirty, but like some people are really sensitive to like clutter of any kind. So it might just be like a personal thing. Like I don't think anybody's going to walk into this apartment and be like, think it needs to be condemned or anything. From what I'm seeing, that's all I can go by.
Obviously, we're in a sort of attic apartment. Hello, Tenderman. Why is Ben laying down while visiting? He's making himself comfortable. That's how good of a host Ruby is. Ruby will be taking us through a tour of the apartment. We're going to give you some court updates.
Is that true?
I don't know. Ruby, didn't you say you wanted to do a tour? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to
I'm
promise
ready
things.
to come clean. And what I think I should start doing to have accountability, because that's lacking in my life.
Hey, at least like she lives with her brother, I guess, but like she's got her own place and has her own has an independent life, which is a lot more than some people have. Like a lot of people just finding housing or something like that's really difficult. So, but I think to me, it's just when you get mad, it's hard to reel it back in. And then especially when you're in an environment where you have like people who want to escalate that, who aren't really involved in it. Like somebody came in yesterday and said that like Ben had issued a cease and desist order against Thorp Alert. And like it told Ruby some stuff. And then you have Ava making the video. And when you go on and you do these interviews, I would imagine like it's difficult to be like, it's difficult to be on a show like Ethan Ralph and not bury them, which Ruby didn't. I don't think she really buried him on Ethan Ralph. And I think that takes a lot of like restraint, but it's difficult. I think when you have people who are like leading you into situations, and then you have like people like Grace who are definitely reactionary and escalatory. And so when you get like people bouncing off of each other, I just think people say like a bunch of stuff that they don't mean, a bunch of stuff that's like you're mad in the moment. I'm not saying that I'm not making excuses. It's absolutely immature to act like that. But I do, but that's what I kind of what I'm saying. Like some people don't handle their anger better than others, and it's not making an excuse. I just don't think that these people believe everything that they're saying. You know what I mean? Expect better. Well, I mean, what can I do though, Junk? I can't. There's nothing I can do about it. I just don't think they really meant a lot of the stuff on either side. And I think you have predatory people that are escalating the situation, and that doesn't help. But yeah, it's definitely immature to get mad at somebody and say a bunch of hurtful things, especially because it looked like there was going to be like a reconciliation and then everything blew up. So I don't think it's making excuses. I'm just saying, like, I understand how we got to this point, especially knowing the characters involved, because everything is like heightened on the internet because you have an audience and you have like I said, you have the Thorpiters, and then even beyond that, you have the people who are interested in, and they don't want to ever hear anything good. They wouldn't have like, they wouldn't make videos about like successes or triumphs, right? I personally do agree with you that I don't think it's acceptable that if you get mad at somebody to lash out. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I understand the process of how we got to where we are and why I think that the bridge isn't burnt. I think people who say things in anger that they don't believe are maybe like a little more likely to forgive other people for doing it. I mean, what would you want me to say, Junk, instead of reactionary? Like, I feel like reactionary is exactly the right word.
Is every 3 days a house check,
Oh,
a
yeah?
walkthrough. How's she doing? Because it's a
I want to
direct
do a cleaning
reflection of my
stream
mental
with
health.
Ruby.
You know,
It
like,
is,
if
yeah.
I'm living in squalor, but if I hide it, it festers.
Grace doing a cleaning stream would be fun because she'd just like be picking up items and like telling telling us what they are, or dusting a quarter of a table.
Doesn't she have some cute posters here though? Like, I love the colors.
Like,
It's very
It's
very
Pinterest. It's
Pinterest.
Whose
very
art?
Pinterest.
Whose art is on the walls?
A lot of it is just shit we found. This
Oh.
this graffiti artist I used to know named Muck did this with her dog, and weirdly enough, I found it at a Goodwill, and I was like, oh shit, I know
Wait,
that
I think
painter.
Oh,
I think I can use
This actually, she's actually somewhat famous. Hey, if anyone wants to buy this, this is from the graffiti artist Muck, who used to be based out of New Haven, now lives in Venice Beach, I believe. What's up, Muck?
That on canvas.
I actually really like the Grace cleaning streams. She made a few of them while Ben was away, and I really like those. Hey JF, I mean, I understand if people take it seriously, but I mean, realistically, there's nothing. Like, I'm just trying to show that like I understand the processes of how we got here. Like, I'm not making excuses for anybody in it, especially in an environment where all of this is going to be content too. Kind of makes it a little bit different, I think. Junk, wouldn't you agree that if people learn from their mistakes, like quickly, like I think people eventually maybe learn from their mistakes, but like if we weren't getting these repeated arcs, like that's kind of one of the hallmarks of this genre of YouTube, right? Is the cycle of repeating these mistakes. Yeah, I remember the first stream that I watched, like, of hers from start to finish that I reviewed on Twitch was like her, and she had on like a Trump shirt, and she cleaned for a while, and then she'd sing for a while, then the stream ended like, I think it ended going to Burger King and fake crying at Burger King. But I thought that I loved the cleaning streams. I thought they were like really vibe. Everyone has their own Jerry Springer channel now. Yeah. Well, and OPC Don said everything that happens on Thorp TV is fake. So we all know, we all, on a human level, it's sad. I mean, I can understand that. I mean, especially if you're like really, if you're rooting for them. I guess here's my thing: if you're watching Thorp TV and you don't, and like, if you don't want the actively good or bad things to happen to the Thorps, or maybe like, or whatever, like, what's the motivation to watch? You either like, you can either just enjoy the drama and enjoy like the seeing these social dynamics play out and these interpersonal relationships play out. I don't really know what else you can really do. Like, I understand if you hate watch and you're like, man, I hope Ben, gets what's coming to him, or man, Grace is a bitch, I hope she gets what's coming to her. Or if you are like, man, I hope Grace gets her life together, I hope she gets, whatever, or I hope Ben, is able to, get his dick wet, whatever it is you're hoping out of it. Like, I guess there's got to be some motivation to watch, right? Like, if you just think it's, and I'm not attacking you or anything, but like, I guess, like, do you just watch just like what's the motivation to watch, I guess? Like, what's your motivation to watch, Junk? You hate cleaning, but you like things clean. So annoying. Well, I mean, Grace doesn't really clean either. I think through that entire, oh God, was it like 4 hours long or something, maybe even longer than that? She cleaned like one shelf and then the top of the shelving unit, and like that was it. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's one of her original paintings. So,
Nice.
cash at me and I'll, I don't know.
How much would you sell it for?
No, $5,000.
We got a little art piece on the. Oh, I thought this was like a.
Muck is an actual artist?
That's her like graffiti name. She's like one of the few like successful like graffiti female artists.
Oh.
This is my
This is a Bumble poster.
That's my RIP. That's Coco. It's my 9/11 dog I got when I.
And I actually think all the different types of people who watch Thorp TV make the show more interesting too, especially from a chat perspective, because chat's such an important part of Thorp TV. But like, it is interesting to see all these people with these different motivations for watching. You'd watch her join a disc golf team for a day and enjoy the innocent interaction too. Yeah, I mean, I like all of it. Pretty much. I mean, some of it I don't, but. Well, that makes perfect sense, Junk. Like, and again, I guess I'm just not really like, I don't watch for like, I'm not trying to like moralize. I'm mostly interested in like I mean, obviously the entertainment value, but then like you also have like, there's just so many like watching all these interpersonal things play out while everybody's trying to get, like, you have the personal part of it, and then you have everybody that's trying to like, almost everybody in this sphere is like trying to build their channel and build their entertainment, or make content, entertain people. And I just really like to see how all these different little, I just think it's socially interesting to me. Hey, Mackenzie. You missed most of the bridge burning? I thought every stream was really good. Well, I think that's part of the, what do they say on YouTube, that it's like you have most people have a 5-year window on making content, because after a certain point, like, even if you're making like good content, it's just your audience starts to age out or whatever.
I dropped out of school on 9/11 panic attacks. My mom beat to abort me.
Aww.
That's why I'm so functional. And this is a flyer I made. I used to think it was hilarious to make flyers tinier and tinier and tinier. So this is what.
I mean, you could watch any other IRL streamer, even like somebody that gets into a lot of drama, and you'd have to go a long ass time to equal just the level of drama we got over the weekend. Like, That was so much.
One of the medium small, but we'd make them this little.
Flyers for your
Isn't that
band?
cute?
Yeah, flat flyers for a band.
Mm.
Yeah, like for the shows, we would, I would usually do the artwork and stuff for that.
We got the chaise lounge. We got the. Do we want to? I don't know if you want to do the tour right now. I just
No,
want
we
to show
don't.
you
Yeah,
the
let me
art.
bring the coffee. Oh, I have sugar is in my room. That's right, sugar.
Can we do the room tour?
Yeah, come on. Okay. My room's actually not
Wait,
that bad.
let me change the audio to the phone audio. Oh, my cat almost. Hold on, audio. Switch it for 1 second so they can hear when we're in there.
Yeah.
Let me know if it disconnects. It should stay though.
Yeah, like this, I don't think this is like, I don't think this is going to be on A&E or anything, but I can see how somebody, if they were like, because there are people who legitimately get like anxiety if there's clutter, they start to feel like trapped. So I could see like if somebody felt that way, they would be like this. But I mean, this is just like it's just fucking bags on the floor. Like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it always pays to grab some extra time.
Ben being 50 years old is your issue. I think Ben being around definitely shapes the content, but I just feel like most of the time Ben's just tired, which I think adds a funny dynamic because he's always like at his wit's end, just like constantly. He's just always at his breaking point. I don't think this looks like a hoarder room. I will say that Grace's I mean that was some serious Dark Phoenix stuff when she was talking about Ruby. Like it was pretty out there. That's why if you watch the stream, she was so worked up, and I'm a troll at heart. But so I sent in the messages like Hollywood Grace Thorp has arrived, and I told her to like smoke more. And then she walked away, so I put Dono scammed because I knew she would see it when she came back, and like I wanted to like poke her a little bit and get a reaction, and I definitely got one. She was on a fucking tear that day. He's always laying down or sitting down, yeah. Well, yeah, he does have an injured back. There was one thing that really just stands out to me is like, which if I had to do all that driving, like I couldn't do it. I don't know how he does it. Like even back aside, just driving as much as they do, like I would hate it.
This is sugar. So you never know when you may have a guest.
We got the kitty. We got the fish tanks.
It's just me. I'm basically just like a crazy genius surrounded by. There's just like books like flying
Ooh,
everywhere.
book roster. What do we
They're
got?
all over the place. Currently, you'll never
Play-Doh
guess what I'm
Complete
reading,
Works.
But
We got some cassette tapes. Very vintage.
that's my
very
old
retro.
band's tape.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you have anything you can play it on?
Oh no, I don't have a tape player anymore.
Girl!
This is what I'm reading right now. Shout out Phil
Auto
Illy.
heterosexual.
He was actually just on Ruby
Attracted
Tuesdays.
to being the other.
Now, who's Phil Illy? Is that the guy who looks like John Lennon? With like an afro, John Lennon? Been using new generation slangs and the slurs. It's funny, but he's a parent and they could use better ones. Yeah, but I don't think we can move Ben. Like, I don't think we're going to move Ben. I don't think we can move Grace. However we think they should, whatever we think they should be doing, like, they're not going to do it. Like, they're just not going to listen to anybody, I don't think. They're just going to have to work it out however they're going to work it out. That's why I hate the Furby. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, it's nothing personal. But these people that come in and they think they're the first people to ever share a link to how to spot abuse in the Discord or shit like that. Like, is that how you help an abuse victim? By like shoving pamphlets in their face and like giving like it just sounds like an after school special to me when the Furby's talking. It's like all generic, nothing tailored specifically to Grace's situation. It's just everybody comes in like they're the first person that's ever tried to like quote unquote like save Grace.
Other sex.
Yes, but the autogynephilia.
Oh.
Yes, but
it's
he
called
is
auto-hetero.
huge book. That's Phil right there. He's been on my channel twice. I love interviewing him. He's a
Shout out Phil Illy.
very interesting character.
Philly.
Fascinating dude. And then
Oh my god. I'm
that's
so
me,
excited
that's
for you to
Celeste
go
Lover.
blonde. Oh, see, chat? I told you she was hot.
Teacher Ben is different than YouTube Ben. Oh my god, I hope so. So you would like to see Ben like calm down on what like the red pill stuff and the slurs and just kind of be like a more like you'd rather see Ben as like a more of like a Clark Griswold, like funny but with some wisdom. You had to, the new people is awful to have to go through. You had to catch yourself in the beginning as well. Yeah, I mean, again, it's nothing against the Furby. I don't have any issues with them. I just think it's a lot, and I think it's funny. I think it's funny when they like tell Ben to shut up or try to get him to argue with him. But like ultimately, I want to hear from Ben and Grace more than I want to hear from the Furby or anybody else. Like, again, I get it, but I feel like maybe there should be like a pinned post of like everything that's been tried or whatever. How's it going, St. Elmo's Fire? How's it going, Randy? Like, if it's on someone else's channel, I really don't care, but I just don't want it on ThorpTV. Like, that's valuable time.
Yeah. And this is me rocking out with my old band because I'm so fucking cool.
Dark's
it was blonde.
sister?
Yeah, that was like one of my all-girl bands. Oh, this is me and my lesbian lover right here. This is a great pic.
Okay, I want to see. Let me put in the light so they can see.
I forget what she wants to go at. Lamel, where are you, bitch?
Is it like Halloween?
No, we were just hanging out at a friend's house.
Oh. Well, what's the blood?
They had this like dress with like it was like an art project dress. So they're
Like somebody who's a big like big Grace supporter and like anti Ben that I think does it right is ZXV. Like he'll tell Ben that he's scum and everything like that. But it's like it's not like preachy or, you know, self-righteous. It does add to the crazy range of characters that pop up in the channel. That's the other thing. Like, I can tolerate anybody, like, now and then, but some people should be, like, you know, sporadic guests, in my opinion. But I'm just a viewer. I'm not trying to steer the content.
Oh, put it on. She is cute. She is cute.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yeah, she's cute.
And guess what? She rejected James Franco for this bitch.
She rejected James Franco?
Yeah, because he went to RISD at the same time as her. And he's kind of a horn dog. He's like
Should I clip this James Franco story?
known for like hitting on people.
James
like,
Franco?
Whoops.
Yes. So, but I'm such an asshole.
Hold on. So I'm 2 people removed from James Franco. You, her, James Franco.
Yes.
She knew him.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
He wanted to like meet up.
Like when Jeremy's gone for a while or he's less involved for a while and just kind of like almost like forget, and then he pops up on a stream, it's like 10 times more entertaining to me. Like if he's there every stream, like it's not bad, but it's just not the same. But like when it's like a surprise visit from some people, like a surprise Spicoli is always funny. It's James Franco, yeah. Somebody calls him a rapist in the chat, I think.
And obviously like fuck or something, and she didn't want to, so I was like, give me his number, I want to, like, you know, like days ago, like, yeah. And then since I was an immature asshole, I gave his phone number out to a bunch of people. And I regret that.
He doxed James Franco?
I doxed James Franco.
That's so base.
He hit on my bitch.
Ben's like, I'm about to burn the world down. Let me get comfortable.
Okay, it's half the tour. Right there. Franco the rapist.
There we go.
I don't know if he's a rapist.
Yeah, I hate moving. Like, yeah, I'm glad she got to keep her place. It looks like a nice place. It looks like it's pretty big. Like it looks like a Not big, big, but for like an apartment, I think it looks like it's a pretty nice layout and everything. How did it work out for James Franco? He raped somebody, apparently. He's like, well, that's like, if he could have just gotten with Ruby's friend, that might have never happened.
Like, he's like, it's not that shocking that my very attractive, friend got hit on by him, Most of my friends are gorgeous.
I hope it wasn't Aphrodite. By the way, Grace told Aphrodite that I reviewed Aphrodite's video where she talks about her breakup. And now she wants to debate. She wants to like debate me on panel.
Ben is stewing like a pot of pickles.
I never got my coffee today, so.
Coffee?
Yes, you did. McDonald's coffee. Remember?
You're about to have some.
Junk. I think she was facing eviction. If I'm getting the lore right, I'm missing a couple Ruby streams though. But I think she was on the verge of potentially losing it, but then she was able to save it, from what I understand.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Babe, thank you.
And you know what? The content got cucked because Aphrodite was calling me out in the chat, calling me an incel, and saying she wanted me to come up on panel. But who's the guy? What's his name? Cabana Man Dan? Who the fuck is that guy that took over the stream one time? And he wouldn't bring anybody else up. So like me and Aphrodite are in the chat ready for blood sports, and Dan won't bring anybody up because he wants to talk to the guy with the Undertaker profile picture. Like, I don't know what was going on. Yeah, you smoke period blood. I like Aphrodite. I would do a blood sports with her maybe for fun, but like, I think she's really funny. But it is weird though that she smokes her period blood. Ben's lack of caffeine kicked it off. Oh yeah, the coffee. Yeah, I think didn't they pay her like directly for working for like being part of the streams? That means she likes me. I think it would be funny. I think Aphrodite's really funny. Her breakup video, if you haven't seen it, it is so good. It is so good. It's fantastic. Aphrodite is chill minus her lack of sanity. That's like my perfect setup. Oh, shoot. I'll be right back. I got to get my phone charger.
Just careful, don't spill it.
Wow,
That means we are all 3 degrees removed from James Franco. That's true. Yeah, you guys know me. I know Ruby. Ruby knows her hot ex-lesbian lover, and her hot ex-lesbian lover knows James Franco. So, yeah.
And I doxed him, so.
And I don't.
And never again. That's why
Good,
I'm
thank
against
you.
it.
She
And will not do
DDoSed
it.
him.
What's up, people?
It's the
We can
widest
settle it.
cup I've ever seen in my life.
It's so hard. I have to like hold the little 1 cup thing over it the whole time because it would fit on top. So annoying. Is this my like angle? What am I doing here? Alright.
Rip some shard, Ben.
Okay.
Not claiming James Franco.
What's up, Cheddarinis?
Normal. Fun 20-something girl convo. Not so
All right, I remember to turn my mic back on. You were there for that stream? It was fantastic. You're wary of those who think they are reincarnated famous deities. So basically, everyone in the Thorposphere.
normal. Dad seething in living room.
We've got what? Abel, Joan of Arc, Aphrodite. I'm sure Ava is somebody reincarnated.
He's not seething.
Maybe the chick from Brave.
Relaxing.
No, I'm just chill, yeah.
Ben is a victim of the cup.
It's a quite wide cup.
Look at Ben, jacket off. He's rolling the sleeves up. Ruby has no idea that there's somebody in the clock tower.
Thank you.
Good.
I've got my coffee. With almond milk?
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, it's pretty neutral. I haven't had like normal.
How's it going, Grace's lack of hygiene? 8-day countdown? Yeah, they'll all come back. I think so, too. I mean, even Ava is always coming onto the VCs and talking in the Discord, coming on the late night panel. Ava posted on my I posted like an hour and a half of a VC of her and Darius talking, and she was like, "I can't believe you think anybody wants to watch this." And I was like, "Not everybody. I think there's interest in it because like not everybody's on Discord, but it got like 250 views or whatever might not be like a lot to Ava, but like that means 250 people like wanted to listen to it. I think it's worth putting it up if like 10 people want to listen to it." He's not worried about getting his cat piss on himself.
Criminal. Well, I guess I had it when we were like on the road sometimes.
No, that was like powdered creamer. I don't know if you think that's I don't know. How many calories? Shut up,
question.
Amsterdam. Oh,
He's
right.
That's what Dalmatian. I know I am literally Dalmatian. I'm like, wait, what? How does like the hair movement?
no, you're nowhere near as bad. He just did this the whole time.
I feel like I'm always like doing. I know he really was like. It was like. Oh, I love watching guys when they're like so weird about their hair and they do like stuff like that.
Ruby, I had like 800 calories for breakfast today. I'm so fucked.
Dude, I had like 2,000 calories of candy.
I also think it's worth archiving those VCs because sometimes when I'm in there, I don't see Shamu or some of the people that I know always record them. And like, why wouldn't you want to have access to them? What if like Naptown could get a really good clip out of there? You know what I mean? I don't see the downside in archiving it. Shouldn't Ava be happy that 250 people wanted to listen to a boring Discord? I'd love to have the full VC. I'm missing, I think Grace let me in when my stream ended, so I'm missing like a lot at the beginning. How's it going, Grace? We were definitely not talking about how you're the reincarnation of Joan of Arc.
Candy last
yeah.
night,
We went to McDonald's, yeah. Yeah. You were up for a while, like after the coffee, but like it had an effect. But then I think you just, you lost it. Oh, you're muted.
Why do I not clean? You seem to be high on Adderall at all times. That's just actually
We're gonna clean
how I
together.
am.
We're gonna clean together.
Yeah, we're gonna clean together.
I'm going
today.
to use Ruby as a metaphor for my life, and in so
Beautiful.
cleaning up my.
Uh-oh. Grace just said she's going to use Ruby as a metaphor. She did the SpongeBob rainbow as a metaphor for her life. Foreshadowing, Grace?
My life. I will use her life as an experiment to clean.
It's just been.
I'm gonna cut out the clip and just have Grace be like, "I'm going to use Ruby as a metaphor for my life. I'm going to use her life as an experiment."
Gonna build up. I live with my brother. We're very
functional?
comfortable. I think that's a beautiful plan, and I would love to help you execute it. Ruby, I just put it off, and it's just.
Are we gonna dye the hair today? Yes, we are.
I know. I'm like.
Yeah, like if I miss a VC and then I find it on YouTube, like I'm super happy about it. So I don't know. I think maybe Ava thinks I'm like a hater or something because I'm a big Grace fan, but like I don't hate Ava. I don't think Grace hates Ava. It's all this is show business, not the fancy business.
First, we're gonna do the court update, but I have.
Look how relaxed Ben is. Everybody having a great time, optimistic.
I'm so excited. I think this is really going to elevate us so much.
I have all the stuff here to clean. My hair is greasy because I haven't showered.
It's actually really better to protect it a little.
It's good to wash. It's good to dye your hair when it's a little bit dirty.
Yeah,
it's pretty
especially
dirty,
with
but it's not too bad. It never gets that greasy. I don't know how greasy would you say it is. It's pretty bad, but like.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Ava. At the end of the day, like I'm a Thorp fan first, so like I want to see the content that Ava makes about him. I want to see the content Ruby makes or whoever. I watch pretty much any Thorp content, so I don't have anything against any of them. Ava should wake up every morning and thank Grace Thorp for her YouTube success. Yes, and I do. Even back in the Twitch days, every stream we started off by saying good morning to Grace. And it's true, Ava's making good content, but she is definitely, there's a huge drop-off between, like, in viewership and stuff, and she's got to figure out how to bridge that, which she might be able to do, but she should absolutely be grateful to the Thorps.
It's not like Grease City, but it's
Grease
market.
greasy.
I don't know.
It's greasy.
Not really.
But it protects your scalp.
It does, yeah.
And we're doing like all platinum, so it'll be good. And it's not like the oil's gonna stop.
By the way, the people on Twitch hate Grace. People would only come in to fuck with me. Like, Twitch hated it because of all of the slurs and stuff, and eventually they just ended up banning me. But they once I got a little bit of footing on YouTube, though, they invited me back, but I don't think I'm going back.
Stop the bleach from
If I
getting
should
through.
do like, I was gonna should I do like off to side or all front, like, because sometimes I do like a side part. Could it be cool to do?
Ava wants to cover Big Thorp news. Yeah, that's great. I think that makes for like a good ecosystem. You have like you get like your daily clips from me. You get your like big like massive documentary drops from Naptown. That was when people do a live stream every few months or something. There's like there's like no competition because I think people want a lot of Thorp content. I don't think like there's no rivalries or anything. I wouldn't think.
Do a streak like just like that going on.
And Shamu can do those like tabloid style tweets that are hilarious to read.
I
All
want
the
to
way
give her. I want to give
down
her
here?
a money piece. What I mean by money piece.
Yeah,
is,
let's see some examples. I trust your judgment. I think it'll look cool no matter what.
Because Ruby, actually, you look really good blonde. I've seen pictures of you blonde. I know you with dark hair. You look good blonde. She actually looks really good with
That was
half
my
blonde
hair.
on the bottom for some reason.
I
don't know.
think
wasn't
two-tone is my
expecting that.
look. I
Yeah.
stole it from Debbie Harry had the two-tone hair. And
Oh,
like,
she did?
yeah, she had like a bleached on top and then like a black on the bottom for a while. I was like,
Bill or I called Ben Bill. What the fuck? Ben looks like he's drinking out of a cereal bowl. Who's Bill?
my hair.
This is what I
inspiration.
mean. This is like a little
Oh,
bit more than
yeah.
a money piece, but
Yeah,
this is what I
yeah.
was thinking.
Isn't Grace a natural blonde? I don't know. I don't think so. Is she? Yeah, that's part of what makes it funny to me, Junk. Shamu with his lies.
Something
Hell
like
yeah.
this, guys.
Grace, we haven't been in a residence in like a year, right?
Grace trying to look like an X-Men.
That looks sick on me. I'm
Uh,
excited.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
I'm ready to be
Hotel,
two-tone.
not
Plus,
the
it's like a
RV.
mature alt look.
A real residence outside of the hotel or the RV? Yeah. Yeah, not since like January.
Oh, Ruby, I have no idea, Randy. Or Wilmar. I'm calling everybody the wrong name today. Bill Thorpe. I'm not trying to do like a Wings of Redemption Richard thing with Ben. Don't. Let's not start that.
Yeah. So like 8 months. 9 months.
Literally haven't set foot in a residence.
Like a residence, like a kitchen and a shower and
Yeah.
bedrooms
Oh my
now.
gosh.
Ben is getting land sick. Okay, so I got all the stuff. I got Kaleidacolor Blue Tonal Powder Lightener, which is for dark hair only. Okay, this is a whole bucket of it.
Yeah.
I don't have any gloves or brushes, but we're just gonna
That's fine. We'll just
I
like
have
wash
my
it off
Paul
our hands.
Mitchell
Oh,
Instant
I have
Moisturizer.
gloves.
Grace doing one of her best tasks, presenting items to the camera. I always love that.
Shampoo. Oh,
I'm
you have
pretty sure
gloves?
gloves.
Okay, we don't
I still think the cigarette rolling content is some of my favorite, but I do like the showing items to the camera.
need brushes.
From like COVID, my mom gave us like a big box of books.
I have 20 and 30 volume developer, which is what you put with the powder to like create a paste that you put in your hair. I have
I want Grace to record like a 12-hour ASMR audio of her like describing different household items, and I can fall asleep to that.
blonde toning shampoo.
That's important.
Purple
'cause
shampoo.
Your hair, well, your hair already has like an ash tone, so it probably won't be super orange. Mine might come out a little
Yeah,
orange
mine will
just 'cause I
be-
dyed dark.
Oh yeah, I remember the weightlifting competition. I clipped that, the Simp Olympics.
darker,
Mine
but
will be yellow. Yours will
Yeah.
be orange. And then I also have
sometimes it's
T28
bleach
natural
twice.
blonde toner, which is what you put on top of it after you bleach it. So I got all the stuff. Yes, that will work.
Nikki, hi. What's up, baby?
That will work on Ruby. Yes.
Now I would goon to the cigarette making content, not the item describing. I could just like zone out listening to. I like the times though that when she was cleaning and she'd show something to the camera but she didn't know what it was and she'd be like, I don't know. I don't know what this is, and then just put it back.
My girlfriend is a professional hairstylist. If you have any questions, let me know.
Oh.
Tropical, your girlfriend doesn't exist.
Wait, that's tropical?
Yeah, post
great.
picture.
Tropical Heat. Hey, he did, in all fairness, when I did the episodes on Tropical Heat, he did send me on Discord a picture of him and his girlfriend. So I don't know that that is like his current girlfriend, but he was posing in a picture with a girl, and they were posed like boyfriend and girlfriend. So that's all I know for context.
Or
Why can't people
no
have
balls.
the same name everywhere? It's confusing.
You could use a toothbrush.
I was accidentally being nice to that.
I don't need a
user.
toothbrush. I don't need any brushes. I'm just gonna be slapping it on my hair with Ruby.
Slap.
We're just
Slap
gonna do
it on.
strands, so we don't need the foils. And all
Yeah,
that.
no.
Plus, we don't have the time.
Yeah.
We don't have the attention span for that
No,
either.
foil is way beyond. Actually, I do have tinfoil.
Oh,
But I don't
Nikki
really
Blake
do
is
it
right.
every
Mike Avelli's house would count as a residence.
Oh yeah.
Mike
You guys
Oh,
were
yeah,
there
yeah.
for
His grandma's basement.
that was such a trippy visual.
That
It
wasn't
looked like it
still
was like a
still that wasn't quite a residence though. It was a
throwback
basement,
residence. Yeah.
which is a residence, but like it didn't have like a kitchen, but it had bedrooms and I don't know. I think it would count as.
That's why I
residence.
slept there the whole time. I just conked out.
I liked Machiavelli's grandma's house. It was like it had like it looked like it was like a set of a 70s sitcom or something. So everything that happened there was like, well, and plus I was really high, but everything was like twice as funny as normal because I was imagining the Thorps and Lalo as part of a 70s sitcom. Like the furniture was amazing.
Willem Lecomte says, Grace, I just got my U pass. we called that up ass.
Oh yeah.
He got his up ass.
You think Ben is plotting it out right now? I mean, he does seem, he is in kind of like shark mode.
So I could take the train to New Haven now. Oh, that's great, Willem. We'd love to meet you sometime. Sorry, babe. My girlfriend is very real and very full of my jizz. Could have been you.
Ugh.
R.I.P.
I can't think about his jizz after watching that documentary about. Oh my god, I can't.
I
Jizz
guess.
wall, I can't.
No, the cum wall was legendary.
I had to literally.
Nobody
fast
even
forward.
fucking knew about that except for me. He dropped that piece of lore just for me, and I was the one who got the photo.
Oh, I.
He probably dropped the entire wall of lore for you, Grace.
Okay, so you guys should all be
It
very
makes my
grateful.
stomach turn. Like I think I might be lesbian fully. from that.
Ben looks like $1 trillion mogul. Dad, they're loving the outfit.
That's why. See.
They complimented. Did you
Looks
notice there were two bitches
maxing.
who complimented me in court?
Yeah. Wait, no, I remember there were these two like middle-aged women, and they bumped into him. Wasn't it those two?
Oh, that was one.
They bumped into him because we were like standing in line, and the lady goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. It was pleasant, but sorry anyways."
Oh!
Not that I mind, or something
Not
like
that I mind. Yeah.
Whoa.
I was like, hey.
Was she fine or was it?
No.
No, then that
Chocolate
Hispanic.
No.
How's it going, Tori? You think Ben's plotting? Okay, well, here's a question. I know we haven't gotten there yet, but I'm assuming that like everybody knows what happened or whatever. I mean, since it's on film, we know what Ben said. But do you think that Ben was saying it like from a perspective of like actually giving Ruby advice that he thought that she should absolutely take, or do you think that he was saying things like as part to try to make interesting content? Those were all wasted Grace seeds.
Oh no.
But she had huge. Linda had knockers for miles though.
Unfortunately.
That Hispanic lady, I
Yeah.
was like, my hair looks like shit. And she's like, well, if you want that Hollywood look. And I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, the woman and her mom we were talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, people react differently when it's looks maxing. We need to looks max every day, and the world reacts to you differently because it's so shallow.
From the basement to the attic. Ben looks amazing. Does Ben's
Amazing.
menstrual cycle sync with you ladies? Well,
We're
not to
almost
give,
synced.
not to give, yeah, not to do
Sorry,
TMI,
not to
but
blow up your
we
spot,
are
but-
we are almost completely synced up at this
Yes.
point. So we will be starting a, what do you call
Joint
it?
cycle. You can have a public
No, what do you call it?
joint
Like
cycle.
a witch group, a group
Oh,
of witches.
yeah.
Maven cult, not cult. I mean
Coven.
coven.
Yes.
We'll be starting a coven, so please apply. Join the Discord server
Yes.
to be part of our coven.
I'm really excited to go into the ovulatory phase because the luteal phase, that 2 weeks is killer. And I had my candy freak out last night. It's over. Reality, the period is over now. Yours is beginning very close.
Menstrual cycle.
Next cycle. We will be linked, and we need to have like.
I think Ben, and again, I mean, I can't know. I'm not in Ben's mind, but I agree. I think he definitely engages with people in a way to try to build toward like a reaction, or like to like the Star Trek guy. Ben got that guy to relax, open up, and spill everything. Like he completely socially like engineered that guy. So like I can definitely see that. I don't really feel like he has any ill will toward Ruby. I mean, I think he might get mad if you brought up something that like he was really sensitive about, but I think that like he would still engage with you. So I think maybe because he is willing to do that stuff, he thinks that like he can, that other people can. I think he kind of phrased it that way, didn't he? That he felt like he was like if he were bantering with another guy, then they could kind of like needle each other in that personal way. But because it was, but he can't banter with he bantered with a woman like he would banter with a man. But I don't know that like I agree with that part of it, but I do think that like maybe he kind of assumes that because he can absorb a lot of like verbal punishment that everybody else can, which isn't true. But I don't think he did it in like a really like trying to twist the knife on her. I think it was predominantly like just trying to just like get an interesting exchange on film. Also, kind of Ben has that like conversational style where everything's a hypothetical or everything's a what if. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So like maybe even in his mind he wasn't equating it to like the literal, but just like we're talking, big picture. Whereas to Ruby, obviously it's like a super personal topic.
Did
I don't know, I'm pretty high.
Ben
Calendar, so
did
people
Ben
can check in.
did Ben say get back off me, old ass bitches? All right, we want a court update first. I'm gonna get the whiteboard for that. We have that is an actually amazing phone holder for the wide angle shot.
Right? Yeah, it's working.
Even though it's like looks like it's from 1982.
It's
I know,
a
it
good,
does. It
this is
looks
a
like
good
it's
room
been
for
around for a
streaming.
while.
It is.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
just saying
surprised
when we
never
came
really
here
used
that
this
Ruby should use this room for streaming because
I
it's so much more like dynamic.
Well, now that it's like cooled off, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you were saying because the AC. Yeah.
Yeah, because the AC and also just not to disturb
Oh,
my
you
brother.
only have room AC?
Yeah, only AC in our rooms. So like the whole summer we've just been
Oh,
like
it
in
must
our
get
rooms
really
like
hot up
crazy.
here.
Yeah.
But
So
there's
it
an
was, like,
attic
not-
above here too, right?
Yeah, there is. We have like our furnaces up there for some reason.
Oh, right.
Okay, so I'll be right back. I'll be right back to get the whiteboard because we really can't do this without the whiteboard. Dear me.
What's up, chatteroonies? I always feel weird when the camera's here, but like the computer's here. So I feel like I'm being pulled in two different directions.
Yeah, you look at the
looking-
computer, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the computer because I want to read.
Yeah.
But this is like,
You could set the computer up so it's behind the camera. Grace doesn't like to do that. I don't know why.
I think any stream is made better by the whiteboard. How's it going, Chris? South to West, I think the audience underestimates how stressful the legal system can be. I mean, I think I mean, obviously, it's very stressful. Yes. I don't think that equates to what we're witnessing today, though. That comment just really cracked me up, South to West.
I just like to.
Oh, can I finish it?
Oops, sorry.
Oh,
You can
God.
have as many cigarettes as you like.
Wow, how
Literally,
nice
it's not
of
a
you.
full pack. So I have 2 packs of Newports going.
Unfortunately, the chat's not coming up for me, the chat replay. But chat was absolutely losing it over the fact that Ben and Grace were going to grift Ruby out of all of her name brand cigarettes.
Not a care in the world. As long as I have my Newports and Diet Coke, I'm a simple bitch. Like, what's the issue?
Oh, those
Ooh.
eyelashes are about to fall.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I have to fix mine too.
I like the triangle a lot, but I also like the red background. This is where the fucking happens back here in the red light district.
Whatever.
Ruby's red light district.
What's up, people? How's everyone? This is
Can I
my
grab that
apartment.
lighter from you? I
And
get all my stimulants.
got all my stimulants. Got all my makeup, and I just put on false lashes.
Is your brother working today?
Probably. He
You bet Ruby regretted it. It is kind of, I did think about that. I watched a little bit of her stream yesterday, and she did bring up the fact that she was having trouble like getting the money for her 2-pack a day habit. So we'll see. We'll try to monitor. Instead of pocket watching, let's cigarette watch.
He often works
So
like
that's one cigarette
lunches
from
during
Ruby's
the week,
stash.
and then like more at night and the weekend.
Well, he's on the other side of the apartment.
He's just right the door right there. So he's either
You think Ben counted the cigarettes? That would be such a hilarious thing to do if, like, especially if you're someone who views Ben as like a real, like an evil person, is that he would like evil max by figuring out exactly how many cigarettes over what period of time he could grift from Ruby.
asleep or at work. Hopefully he's not like asleep, but he would usually be at work right now, I think. Yeah, it's 2:38. He'd still be there till like.
And how long have you guys been here?
Since 2019,
How's it going, Ruby?
I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so a while. That's why I was so freaked out by the eviction thing. We were only 2 weeks late on like half of the.
You gave her $60. Well, I mean, that's good. Cigarettes are expensive as fuck, for real. I don't blame you guys for rolling your own. All this could have been avoided by taking a rain check. Can we appreciate, I mean, this is a somber stream, but can we appreciate that we're seeing Ben finally smoking the name brand menthol cigarettes that he deserves?
Rent. And we always pay the late fines. They're actually benefiting from this kind of situation we're in. But I don't know. I'm glad it ended up being
Well, now that they were paid for, I don't want to count the cigarettes anymore.
a false scare. And they were like, we're not going to evict you over that. They were like,
You've
laughing
been here
at
since
me.
2019, and you're here because you're local.
Yeah. Yeah. My family's nearby and all that. So, yeah, we love the whiteboard. It's so helpful. I really need to get one.
And
I
your
have,
mom,
like, a
your mom's in the New
paper.
Haven area,
She's just a couple towns over.
but you wanted to be where you're not literally from New Haven.
I moved here when I was 16, so I've lived here longer than any other city. But when I was born, I was like in Waterbury. And then
You moved here with
Fairfield.
your parents?
I just moved when I was 16. I moved here.
Oh, you weren't living with your parents when you were 16?
Is that the Primatine Mist? I wish I had chat so I could see the people saying that she's using it wrong.
No.
Oh.
It's-
Well, that's interesting because you're so close with your mother, but
I
obviously
always
then not them.
wanted for my own money and my own independence, and anyone getting in the way of that needed to like.
Nice crowd. I can't let Ava be the only one profiting from this tragedy.
I was very
she was fine with that?
independent. So the second I could make money, I was making money. The second I get an apartment, I got an apartment. And
Hey, we got a
my
super
life, like,
chat.
separating, more.
Super
and
chat
then
for
we
Ruby.
reconnected. Yeah.
$10.
Hey Ben, how's it going? You were out getting pizza and beer. What a nice thing to do, Grace. How's it going, Walshman?
HKVP9 says,
Oh,
shout out
thank
to
you.
Ruby.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Shout out to Ruby.
Shout out to me. I
Ruby,
appreciate
did you
it.
know that there is a sign posted on one of the landing doors?
I think that might have been the Hooplandia stream. We'll stop beating this dead horse when it starts spitting out money. I really do though. I want to go back and like watch it all kind of in order and in context and like really like I'm not trying to come to some like grand conclusion or anything. I just want to rewatch it and get like all the really. I mean, it was a crazy like weekend-ish of content.
In this building that says, this building is illegal to occupy
That's
or
your
live
porch.
in.
Oh, dude, that's the porch I burned.
Oh.
Did you see the?
It's not the front porch; it's the upstairs.
It's
Yeah.
the upstairs.
How do we feel about this?
Did you look at that? Was me,
I looked at it
baby.
briefly.
Black
Oh,
eye.
That was
So
all
So I was
me,
like, that doesn't look
baby.
so bad. Oh, there, it looks bad.
yeah. I thought it was the front porch, and I was like,
Ben's got his cigarette. He's starting to relax. He's smoothing out. He's got his caffeine now.
I don't
Well,
really
yeah, well, it's
see
like
how.
the second upper porch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's they had someone like come take pictures, but I was like a while ago. I don't know why it's
I
still
can
like
see
that.
how they would be upset though, because it's the second one, so like it would like fuck with the integrity of the.
Yeah,
first
I
porch.
tried to downplay
and
it.
the
Like,
third
I was like,
porch.
listen, I grabbed a bucket of water threw it, and I was like, you guys don't really need to get the police involved. You know, we don't need any more fire trucks.
There's not a
They
third
shut down the
porch.
street,
Wait,
and
can I
then they
take a
like
picture of it?
hosed everything
Do you
down.
care
Yeah.
if I take a picture of it?
No,
Still?
no, go for it.
We got another super chat, by the way. Thank you,
Woohoo!
HKVP9. Shout out to
Thank
Ben and
you.
Grace. Thank you very much, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
get the super chats rolling.
It's so
The
Nice
Lord
to
is-
see because I am demonetized.
Yeah, whatever happened with that? Did Ruby? Did you ever? If you're still in here, did you ever get it figured out? Your monetization?
So I don't get to see little super chats all that
Oh,
often.
you don't?
Yep, bitch. Yeah, I was supposed to get my first payment from being remonetized.
You're going to the state police barracks today, Ben? I don't think that's not true, is it? I don't think that's true that she hasn't showered in September.
After being demonetized for years, I just hadn't updated it. And then on payday of YouTube, they demonetized me again for repurposed content, which is kind of like, what the fuck? Because I've been purely like live streaming more than ever.
Did you appeal it?
I appealed it, but I half-assed appealed it because I usually just win because it's stupid false flags.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm not breaking any TOS.
Repurposed content, meaning you use someone else's content?
Yeah.
But
I
not a
guess, like,
strike?
no, I didn't get a strike. I have had a strike for other things. My channel's been through the fucking mud. So I should probably just start over. But it's like, I
No,
already
but you
have
got a
some
lot of...
bills.
I just want to say, I'm completely mystified by this recent trend in the Discord about this saying cortisol body. Like, Grace will literally just say in the Discord like that she's gained a little bit of weight. And there has to be like these deep conspiracy theories over why it's happening and like that it's cortisol related or it's like whatever. Like, it's so weird to me. Like, that there's a lot of time invested in it too. Like, a lot of time.
Subscribers, yeah.
I know, but they're...
there it is.
I don't know. I feel like I'm building it back and like gaining the audience back, but it's like a process.
Mm.
Now, if you don't know, this is the porch that Ruby accidentally set on fire.
It is pretty brutal now that I look at it. I
Yeah,
can
it's
see why the
kinda
fire
bad.
department is called.
It was like this. That burned.
Yeah.
So that was in flames.
Oh, one of the columns.
Yeah, it was
actually
a column was a cigarette got stuck in the column. So
got stuck.
and it was, I don't know. Anyways, I go upstairs and then I see cops walking towards
I just think it's like it's such a complicated. It's such an unnecessarily complicated way of looking at it.
my house, and then I go down and I see it's on fire. And I let the cops in, and they're like, and I'm like, don't worry, guys, I got this. So I grab a bucket of water and like throw it at it, and I'm like, tell them you don't need it. It's not a big deal. I was like totally downplaying it, and they're like, well, it affects the integrity of the building because it's
Right.
it was kind of bad.
Right.
I'm gonna take legal action against Aphrodite for calling me an incel. If you're still in here, Grace, did you know that Aphrodite wanted to debate me on stream, and then whatever that guy's name is, Cabana Man Dan, he wouldn't bring anybody else up. He just wanted to talk to the Undertaker guy. So we missed out on blood sports between Aphrodite and me.
And
But there's
they
no
shut
third-
down the block. They shut down the block. We had to evacuate. It was a whole fucking fiasco.
Maybe they thought that the whole building would collapse or something.
I don't know. It was a fiasco. Anyway.
Remember, we had an African tenant, and we had to put all these fire alarms in, and so she'd be cooking, and it would go fire, 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 and even though there was no evidence of a fire, she called the fire department. They smashed down every apartment, smashed into
Chris, you know Ben has a career. The Ava you want me to interview Ava? I don't think Ava hates me. I don't think Ava likes me.
Just to check.
Oh, are you serious?
And I was like,
what?
She didn't understand. She was like, she thought the thing was telling her
Oh,
there was a
wow.
fire
Oh,
when she had just set it off with her cooking.
Mm.
oh, I see.
And they're
That's
like,
pretty
they were like,
dumb.
sorry, bro, because the whole
That's
street was
so-
filled with fire engines,
Oh,
and they had to send people in just in case because they got the call. And I was like,
Yeah.
What a,
how are
it's
you?
a
Am I going to
fiasco.
ever get paid back for this?
Yeah, I hopefully that is covered by insurance. It was a while ago. Someone took pictures of it. I was interviewed by the cops. At first, I omitted certain information, but then I was like, I tried really hard not to lie because I get guilty.
Lalo, I feel like you're too hard on Ruby, but I don't think it's anything personal. I just think it makes you really like uncomfy when somebody gets close to Grace. That's what I think.
Guilt about it. So when they asked me
It's not
again,
illegal
I
to
came
accidentally
clean and
light a
I
fire.
told, we're just so stupid.
Wait, what did you?
I
how
told the cop that it was me. I told
Wait,
them.
what did you tell them before? Like, I don't know how that happened.
I just said
Yeah, but
like,
it's only-
I just.
Oh, thanks, Provo. If you look at the timing, it's pretty much like COVID. Like I went through like a mental shift during COVID. But yeah, it's like especially because I was gone for a while. I got banned off of here and off of Twitch for a while, and whenever I came back, like I looked significantly different.
saw the fire and we went outside and like and then they like came back and did like a more thorough interview and I was like, all right, when in doubt, tell the truth. When in
It's
doubt,
not illegal to start a
I
fire
regret
accidentally.
telling that truth because now it's like
Why? You didn't get arrested or anything.
I know
That's
but
not
I
arson. It's only if
could've.
you intend. No,
Well, yeah, remember how tense he seemed, and then he got his caffeine and his cigarette, and now he's really vibing. He's got he's projecting masculinity with the dick microphone.
no. There's nothing. There's
Or
nothing.
there
illegal.
I don't know. It just seemed like maybe not the right move to incriminate myself and be like, yes, I started the fire.
There's a monastery.
Hold
near
on
us,
a second,
beautiful,
Lalo.
huge.
Lala, what you're telling me is, let me understand this, is that you would like to see Grace get close with a hot college girl? Is that what you're saying?
Monastery that was part of La Salette Shrine. You could see it, like this big, huge monastery. And one of the monks fell asleep smoking. The entire monastery was burned to the ground.
Oh my god.
It's not illegal.
Did he die?
I don't think so. But well, that's the problem with smoking.
Yes.
Even Pro says
Now, are you just going to watch Lalo? You just want to watch her get close with a college girl?
you're still
Yes.
liable for damages. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, so that
Mhm.
and that was being late. I was like, oh, they're getting us out of here.
If you were the one who caused.
You could be sued
Right?
for damages by the landlord.
And I was like, oh, who
I guess
cares if I
that's
get
what
sued?
they're
I have
saying.
nothing.
No,
But then I was like,
it-
wait, I
it
will
comes
actually have money
under-
to be taken from me. So that would suck. Imagine if I just got sued for like, oh,
Yeah,
it wouldn't be that much.
Ben, that group of people with Grace was such a great vibe. It looked like those bands where it's like a bunch of like quirky guys and then like the hot girl front person.
Much, but still, it would just
No, it
suck.
would come under their
I mourn for that content. I hope YouTube puts at least those first 12 hours back up.
insurance.
Yeah,
That's what
because it
I'm
was an
hoping.
accident.
But the insurance are gonna, if insurance wants to fight it, and they
Well,
can't.
they'd have-
I don't know why it's
That's
still
what
out
insurance
there.
is for.
Yeah, for accidents.
But
it's a
like, why is
genuine
it still all
accident.
set up like an active scene, like a month and a
Like,
half
let's say you had a
later?
toilet that
I
overran,
don't know.
right, from
Right?
here,
That's like a little sketchy.
and it just kept running and running, and you weren't here, and it flooded all of the apartments underneath it. You wouldn't be able to be sued for that unless you did it on.
You know what the worst part about that guy is? Sorry. He was so cool and Grace had such a great time with him and like it was such good content. And then if he ever looks up the stream, it's going to be Grace like speculating if he's a trans man or not.
Purpose.
Yeah, right.
I hope not. But we'll see. It is what it is. It happened, and
It's an accident. There's
it was an
insurance.
accident.
That's the Billy Joel porch. We
And thank
didn't
God they
start the
saw
fire.
it. I know.
It was always burning since 3 p.m. this afternoon.
Something tells me Rudy does not have a renter's insurance policy. Yes, that something is correct because I do not have a renter's insurance policy. Thought of
Most
getting it,
renters
but
don't.
I know
That's
most
losers.
people don't. Like that's not something most people have. But would it be smart to have? Sure, probably. A
I
lot.
have a
And
pop-
who knows
can I have
with
a
some
cigarette?
insurance? Like what's up? Yeah, yeah. You guys have. I have multiple.
Ben will have to teach them both how to sit like a lady. I'm sitting like a lady.
I
Oh
always.
my God, Ben is delivering VC level quality content in the chat. That dwarf stands head and shoulders above us. He had 2 black guys. Ruby may press charges. Thor, heart is full of love and drugs.
I'm like nuts out. What's the issue? Bless you.
Thanks.
The breaker box behind Grace's bootleg 100K YouTube play button. It's actually not a breaker box. I thought it was too. It's a painting. It's just a canvas. There's nothing behind it. I thought it was to cover up.
That's got to be a brand new sentence. I thought it was a breaker box too, but it isn't. It's a painting.
Like a breaker box.
Oh.
Because it looks
It's
kind
just
of
a
like the
frame.
same size. It's just a
Yeah.
canvas.
Oh my gosh.
Nice clam, Ruby.
Thank you.
Top tier clam.
Imagine the smell in that filthy apartment with the Thorps in there.
Yeah,
The smell has been elevated.
As Jacinda said, you could tell, you could smell. The Thorpe's been here.
I actually haven't watched that interview.
Okay,
I was waiting
bitch.
for your reaction.
You know,
to
I had to walk by her the other day because I had to go to my storage place.
I would walk right up and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
I
Who'd you
didn't
been running
want
them
to,
out?
but I recorded as I was walking by her just in case she wanted to start some shit.
Yeah.
And no,
I had to have a minute to compose myself. What show on YouTube is better than this? There is no show on YouTube that's better than ThorpTV.
it was just all she said was, "You scared the fucking shit out of me." And then she was like, "Aviana, let's go upstairs."
Wow.
Grace.
What a weirdo.
Anyways.
I want to watch the.
Well,
I
Grace,
still need to
that's the
watch that.
cardinal sin right there.
What, saying that Jacinda told me I scared the shit out of her?
Oh, God.
Just move on, it's fine. Dye hair already.
We will, bitches. Chill.
Hmm.
You think Ruby will fight the subpoena? I heard Ruby's gonna get Nick Rekieta to represent her.
But it smells great in here.
All right, so
There we go.
court update.
The whole thing.
I absolutely love it, and you do it all the time, south to west. You'll put that Ben doesn't care what happens because his rewards are in heaven. Like anytime you reference Ben in heaven, it's Kino. I love that. And it really makes people mad in the chat. Like they get really upset with you.
Well, whatever.
Is Ben gonna dye his hair too? He was supposed to
Could you just like a streak and say that like you
a while ago because he was supposed to be going
I have a streak of gray, don't I, right over here?
other side.
you're-
Well, but actually
a little
both
bit,
sides
yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
So it's like I'm kind of doing something. Yeah, I want like. I feel like it's acceptable
Excuse
unless
me.
you're in your 30s to have that kind of look. Because I don't want to go like blue
Oh
hair
yeah,
anymore.
I love salt and pepper.
But yeah, that looks.
I think
yeah,
it looks good on
It would
most
look weird if
guys.
You probably dyed it dark.
I feel bad now because I said something about Grace's ponytail and then she left chat.
My dad did that. My grandpa up until now dyes his hair red.
Dyes his hair red?
Yep.
Really?
I think it's just I don't know what
Your
the barber he
grandpa
goes
does?
to, but it's cut. It's
an old
red.
lady. It's usually an
Like
old
red,
lady
red.
thing.
It's like a red. Oh, I wish I had a picture.
Is his hair
It's like
naturally red, though?
Polyester jumper.
And maybe when he was younger, and he's going for blonde, but it would just often look red. I think.
Mm.
Like I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the origin of it is.
All right, so court. Let's do the court update first. We can move into dyeing hair. So, can I have that clam overview? Thank you.
Well, that's the plan, right, El Jim? Is to get what was it called? It was going to build Ben's going to build a plantation, and it's going to have a bunch of like stuff like there's going to be a big movie studios place, Naptown Studios. So I think there are like long-term plans to build a compound.
My GF cuts and styles my hair. Yes, we know. And takes your
I
cream
stole
pies.
one of your Sharpies, actually.
OPC Don tried to provide the guns. No, OPC Don tried to provide like an army of turtles, like he was Aquaman or something.
By the way, or your like markers.
You what?
Sure, my nuts are out.
Okay, court 9-5 court.
It's almost 9/11.
Shout out. Hey yo. Let me move this over here.
I think whiteboard is top 5 Grace activity. I think that's one of the top 5 Grace activities. The whiteboard is always content.
You guys can see. There we go.
Oh, nice.
All right, Dad. Do you want to? Well, what were we there for? Okay. What is the technical thing you're there for? Is
June 11th.
Well, the hardest part about a cult is the finances. But if you can religify it and make it a religious cult and then get your exemptions and stuff, that makes it a little bit easier.
well, no. I'm just saying. What's the technical charge there?
Manson family arc. Are we going to get Lalo and Ben's going to burn an X in his head?
We're trying to get you on.
Breaking a restraining order from Rhode Island.
Breaking Rhode Island R.O. Okay, so that's what you were there for.
Comes from the pigs. Yeah, but you've got to... that's true. Someone like OPC Don, Lalo, Jeremy, these would all be good like footstools to build off of, I guess, if you wanted to have a cult. The problem is at a certain point, like, I think to get them to that point, you would have to like maybe make them some at least vague promises, and you never know how people are going to react. But then I guess if you can get them brainwashed, then you could just tell them that God told you to change the plan. Grace's whiteboard alt account.
It wasn't with Courtney. No, Strunkzilla. It was
Well,
something
actually,
totally different. It was Massachusetts.
No, actually, that is what they charged me with.
Oh, I suppose that's true.
Breaking that restraining order.
Yeah. So I get it. Actually does have to do with her.
Because I never had a restraining order with you.
Can we get some chicks in this cult? No, you're looking at the only one right here. Unless you count like the Fimps. We could get some Fimps in it. Nobody was shocked when you found... Well, is it... I guess what I would ask, Ruby, is you said you were streaming at the time when it happened, so like, but I know that you said that Grace told you not to film, right? Not to put that on film. But is any of it on film or no? I don't think Grace is... I mean, in any cult scenario, I mean, Grace is going to want the spotlight, I think. So it's probably going to have to be a lot of dudes.
I've never had a restraining order with anyone except your mother.
Right.
in my life.
So.
And
It has to be like basically just women who view Grace the way that like OPC Don and Lalo do, right? Because Grace is not gonna, she's not gonna share the sacrificial altar, as she shouldn't.
she added the kids to it against their will. But
Right.
The cat allergies are already kicking in, by the way.
Right. So everybody, of course, remembers this fateful incident. Let me just bring this up so everybody can see this. From let's see, June 11th of 2024. Pretty sure we all remember this.
Right there. Yeah, he's definitely in there.
Throwback.
He's right there. The mirror's, well, you can't see in it.
And I just want to point out again that live stream, the Saddam Hussein Ben arrest, greatest IRL stream of all time, hands down. Nothing else is even close, in my opinion.
Oh no! Can't open it. It's stuffed with
Benjamin, get out!
I knew I could see him there.
Come on, Benjamin.
Oh,
There
he's
he is.
there.
that
I
was
do have the
the
paper.
little big man.
Yeah. He was there at court today.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was there. The canine guy.
And the same canines were there too.
Yeah, he brought his
He
dog.
brought his doggies.
Did they remember
to
you?
testify.
Hey.
They never met me.
Oh,
I never
dog-
saw
I am
them.
allergic to
Oh,
cats,
oh,
yes. I am allergic to cats. These two pigs sneezing all over this poor girl's apartment. Alright, I'll just let it play for a sec.
Oh, no.
Hey, get her.
No.
No, get
You
her.
don't have to touch it. Stay back.
Back up.
Benjamin, no,
Back
your
up all the
hands
way
up.
back.
You have to open the bathroom door in order for him to get out. You have to open the bathroom door.
You got it.
Turn and face the wall.
You made this so much harder on yourself, my man.
I was so riveted for this like entire stream, and this was like the stream that like kind of pushed through the algorithm when I did like I reacted to like the full video, but like I was so like, I just thought that stream is so good. Like Grace's, like after he's taken away, like all the like panelists Grace has on, she gets like crazy content out of him. I just thought it's like such a good stream.
That guy, the one who said that right there.
But I think the version that the Thorps put up is missing like an hour and a half because it had a bunch of slurs and stuff that maybe wasn't TOS friendly. But I've got like I have a full like unedited version of it.
You made this so much harder on yourself, my man. He was at court. He was sitting right
Wait,
in
what
front
about the
of
guy
us.
who was like, "Thanks for lying, we got him."
That's the same guy.
Thanks
Yeah.
for lying.
Yeah.
No, the
for
arrest was made soup to nuts by
You tried to convince Grace to leave the RV. Ruby, I don't think that they really believe those things all the things that they said about you. I think a lot of it was out of anger.
what was the guy's name? I can't.
And besides, even if there are some like some issues or whatever, I mean, you could put them aside, right? Like even if Brad Pitt has like a problem with, Angelina Jolie, if there's business to be done, you know what I mean? Or no, or do you not feel like that's even on the table?
I don't have my glasses.
I can read it.
Officer.
There's that absolutely just unbelievably Kino moment where the cop asks him if he's been in contact, and he's like, no. And she's like, well, she's right here, sir.
This one right here, the canine guy.
Garrett. Idama.
Gaffin? Something like that. I can read it if you want.
I don't have my. You got. You don't have. You don't wear. Neither you nor your brother wears glasses, right?
Officer douche. Officer asshole.
This was all him.
Yep, it was all him.
Dana, isn't that what it says?
Let me see.
All I know is these cops were probably lucky that they caught Ben with his pants down, because it might have been a different story if he would have been prepared in the moment.
Garrett Dana. Yep.
Well, I don't know if
Officer
that was
Dana.
him because you said he called K9 unit.
No, it was Officer. No. Yeah, no, it's not that guy. He's a patrolman.
Well, who's the K9 guy?
Now, this is actually really interesting. I remember this at the time, but I was zoned out listening. I wasn't actually watching. I was just listening in my earbuds. But this is really neat. Them like breaking down what happened and giving like information from the reports. That's really cool. Giving the names of all the arresting officers.
Let's see.
He's the only one.
No, this report says I cast K9 Rhea down an embankment into the woods. So this is that
So
guy.
this was all him from soup to nuts.
Patrolman Dana. Yeah.
Ruby, you should absolutely take Ben on Judge Joe Brown for calling you a free hooker.
Yeah, it was all him.
Well, I can't read.
Oh,
it.
you can't read it. Okay. I'll let the video play just for a sec.
Thanks for lying, but we got him.
What a dick. Look, I mean, he's so proud of himself. Like, oh wow, you caught Ben Thorp in an RV with like a militia and drones and dogs. Like, come on, bro. And he's like, huh, like, get out of here. Guy thinks he's fucking John Wayne.
Yeah, just an hour and a half of waiting, right?
You called it.
Stacy did.
Yeah, I thought I could hear muffled. Yeah. Yeah. I knew right when the dog.
Everybody, Ben is probably helping Grace make the copies of the documents. Grace would never date me. Look at him. Why would no one's even? Why is that even an issue?
Dogs had no interest in going down there. I'm like, he's in there.
Another million.
Court.
He was
Why
very
you need a
proud of his
bulletproof
vest.
vest
The
in court?
bulletproof.
He
Really?
wore his bulletproof vest.
Well, I
to
think he
court.
likes.
He probably feels so cool.
Yeah.
K9 unit.
No, I'm not saying like the arrest. I'm just saying, why did he have to turn around and like yell at a 21-year-old girl? Like, was he really? What, he spiking the football? Your job is to arrest people, and someone told you exactly where to find somebody, so you went there and picked him up. Like, congratulations. Why do you got to shit talk? Like, what the fuck? It's just not very professional to me. Grace did lie, so what? Who cares? I'm glad she did, because that made, even in the moment, Grace is thinking about the content.
He brought his puppies.
Officer Doggy.
Doggy.
And he had the dogs with him, and he took them for a walk during recess.
Ooh, this is like an animal. This is from my brother's ex.
I mean, what I have pending communications with some of these law enforcement agencies, I'm trying to figure out, and I mean this sincerely, okay? What in the world was the need to send that many officers and the dogs and a fucking drone? Even if everything were true, and Ben was, was violating this order of protection and whatever, or no contact order or whatever. Even if everything was stacked against Ben legally, what motivation would there be to send this like massive response to it? Like, I just don't understand it. I'm curious what was said to the dispatch what was said by the people at, what was it, Thousand Woods or something? What they said to the police, because it just seems like this could have been one squad car with 2 people and just come knock on the thing. Hey, is he in here? No, well, we have reason to believe he is, so we're going in and arrest him. What purpose did all of that other stuff serve? I don't understand it. They were never going to leave without him. It's a small town. They have the budget. Well, I mean, that could be true. They just wanted to flex, I guess, or they don't get an opportunity to. But just being real, like if you're looking from the outside and people want to make Ben sometimes like he's a goofy clown or something. But whenever you see that video and they bring out the dogs and the drone and all these people, it makes Ben look like Saddam Hussein. Like that's great marketing for Ben, in my opinion. It just seemed like such a giant. I was waiting for like the bomb detonation robot to be wheeled up.
It's something you wear, but it has like an actual face.
It's a fox.
Oh.
It's a fox fur.
Oh wait, can I try that on?
Yeah.
Is this
It
real?
might-
Is it real?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
They were going out in the woods in search of a 6'8", 300-pound man in the dark. So you genuinely, like, I'm not being funny, like you genuinely think that Ben was viewed as that much of an immediate threat that there had to be like not just a squad car and some backup, but like that level of, I just have a hard time believing that. Yeah, Thousand Trails. I've been talking to them too. I just want to know the story. Like, I'm not trying to sweep. I'm not trying to make excuses. Like, I want all the information. Like, because I am curious why they'd send that many people. So there might be something in the thing of saying, like, this is just, maybe the person who called said he had a gun or something. I'm not saying that it looks good to normal people, but this is not a normal space. Infamy is rewarded in these kind of spaces, and it does make Ben look like it makes him look like this badass that they had to send all these people out there to get him. If you have no idea what else is going on, and that clip is probably one of the most viewed, I'm assuming, like Thorp clips of all time. It just makes it seem like he's the late great Hannibal Lecter or something.
It's a real fox?
I don't
Shit.
I don't know where. I guess that's probably from the Goodwill by the pound, but I think that's
IBBN Pro, yes, that's what I was thinking. Is that is all it would take if whoever called Thousand Trails, and then if they just told them like, hey, he's violating a no contact order, he's got a gun, that would make sense. Like that's the purpose of finding out. Like then you don't have to like wonder, it's like, oh, they told him that they were armed, so they sent out every available unit or whatever.
That feels like a real fucking animal. It's like
It looks
bad
like a rat.
taxidermy.
It's a pretty.
They said what? An obese woman to arrest you. Oh my God. Looking into, yes. They were looking, right. They're looking up in the trees for a 6'8", 300-pound man. Like, come on.
Pretty ratty looking fox, honestly.
I wonder how we'd like clean. It probably doesn't smell great. Also, what kind of look is
Smells
this?
normal.
That's not very vegetarian of me to wear.
Yeah, this is not the most vegan
it's-
outfit.
It's thrifted, so it's freaking, but it's a little,
Freaking.
little too bad.
OPC taxidermy project, by the way.
I actually came that up somewhere though, because it is kind of neat, like as a thing. I just realized it's
That's
just on the
dark.
ground. Yeah. Oof. Poor guy. I'm sorry, buddy.
Okay, so should I read the report first, or just should we go through what happened at court? I don't know, whatever.
So I was
makes
arrested
sense.
that night.
Yep.
But you should show them dragging me out because it's my basic defense.
Yeah.
Well, and right, I think they would have mentioned something to Grace, especially because they were really reading her as a liar. So I think they would have like at least asked her something about the gun. But it is an interesting point what Ben is saying. However you feel about Ben, him saying that like if they would have taken the time just to ask, I think there's some accuracy in that because they get the police called on them after this. I think it's like the second. I think there's this one, then there's another one, then there's another one. And in that one, the officers talk to them first, and it's resolved, and that's it. So, like, I'm not saying that that for sure would have happened in this case, but clearly they have interactions with cops while that no contact order is technically in the system without being arrested and, like, dragged out like Saddam Hussein.
AC5.
No, but I do think they would have asked, is what I'm saying, Grace's lack of hygiene. And again, that's why I want the police reports so that I can see what they were told, and then we'll know, and we don't have to wonder. Like, I think they would have said, like, is the gun in the van, or is the gun out here with you? If someone had mentioned like that they were armed, I think the cop would have said, like, would have at least asked them.
The party's in custody. All cruisers can stand down. Code 17, Charlie.
You're wondering if it was OPC Don? I'm trying to remember. Like, I know that in the chats at the time, people were very highly speculative that Ben was in the RV because of a couple things that happened, and I don't know for sure that I'm not saying for sure that he was, but I know that in chat it was talked about a lot because of a couple incidents that happened. But was there really a way from the streams for someone who was just watching to be able to pick up that they were at this particular park? If not, it would have been probably have had to been someone. It couldn't have been like a streamer, I wouldn't think. Oh, Nikki knew.
Not doing anything. He's also not doing anything.
That's a tight fit.
I'm very invested in who made the call to the park. I think what happened is somebody called Thousand Trails, and then Thousand Trails called the police, is what I think. That's my personal theory. I'm working on sussing it out, but some of these agencies aren't cooperative.
Hands are falling down. You want me to, no, I'll when you walk out, I'll fix them. Don't worry about it. I'll pull them up for you. Do you have a cell phone or anything like that?
My dick was hanging out of my pants all the way until I got to the cell.
Like, come on, look at this picture. Like, this looks like it's off of like Dateline, and that they found this infamous serial killer or something. You would never think that Ben was being arrested for violating a no contact order. Like, no way.
Yep.
Wait, but it's not here.
I don't know what it was. It was just like, I don't know. When they took me to the station, I was like, look, no big deal. But
well, if it's somebody like that, then I mean, there'd be no. I don't think there wouldn't probably be any kind of trail or anything. Because I doubt they're gonna like identify themselves to the Thousand Trails people.
like my dick is hanging out of my pants.
That's funny. Fun tidbit. Fun little factoid there.
Yeah, I didn't have everything organized.
Sometimes you got to shift things around.
Nikki knew 100% that old footage, like the old footage from the 70s, where it's like the Bigfoot walking by and then it like turns and looks at the camera. Like, Yeah, that's what this footage feels like.
We can bring that phone for you if you want.
I don't care. I don't know what.
You're gonna be brought to court tomorrow. Yeah, that's all.
I don't think I have my belt.
RO violation.
No.
Because she has an RO against you. Yeah, it's in the system. Yeah, we confirmed it with Rhode Island. Yeah.
You mean a no contact?
It says, yeah, it's still a no contact. It's still the same thing in Massachusetts. So.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Hey, Showtime, I agree with you if you're talking about the space we're in, people view it differently. But if all you see is this clip, which this is one of their most famous clips, it makes it look like Ben's. I'm not saying like a badass. I'm just saying like it makes him look like he's a huge criminal figure. And like even if you like, they don't send this kind of response out on a no contact order, in my opinion. Unless he has like a long, somebody had like a long history of like violence, or again, if they said like he's armed or something.
Sorry, I was like the gayest.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, F, sir. We need to be hard.
I know, I'm gonna. All right. That was awesome.
No.
Well, how long were you in on this one, Ben? Were you out the next day? You weren't in a long time after this one, I don't think, were you?
Nothing personal.
Yeah, it was wild.
That cop that was yelling at Grace, his balls feel so small. He's already having to like bark at a young woman that was taller than him. Now he's got to deal with Ben Thorp, making him feel short.
Can you dispose of this? I don't know.
I love you, Dad. I'm sorry they're doing this.
I have shoes.
All right, no, I'm not being gay.
Where your shoes at?
Suck it in. No more odds.
It's fine. Just take me.
Here come the tears from baby.
Yeah, I just want to check you.
I know you can't say anything, but I really love you. I'm really sorry this is happening. I love you. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Yep. Probably.
You put it in
On
my
your
car. It's
cruiser,
right behind
it's the
that.
biggest one.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
How did I violate a no contact?
Are you having contact
So
with
you
her
have
right now?
contact with her right now?
No.
She's right here, right?
She's
She's
right
with
here.
you. That's a pretty solid contact,
And we have
right?
numerous witnesses
Have I
saying you
contacted
were.
her?
We're not going to talk about it.
Let's go.
All right.
This cop's like, he's looking at Grace and Ben are right next to each other, basically. And the cop's like, well, we have several eyewitnesses.
We're not
That's
going to
it.
talk
We're not
about
talking about it.
it. We're not going to talk about it. And they've never talked with me about it.
All right, that's it. We're not talking about it. Let's go.
It's fine. You can unlawfully arrest me.
Okay. Head this way.
Ma'am, he's going to
It is a very scary feeling. I have your freedom taken.
Okay.
away. People haven't experienced
Just
it.
FYI.
It's fine.
What a great stream. And then whenever Grace goes back inside, you're like, as a viewer in the moment, like I wasn't as familiar with ThorpTV then as I am now. And I was like, she's not going to leave. Like, she's not going to keep streaming, right? There's no way. And then she just like stares into the camera for like a really, really long time. And then I was just like, what a crazy moment. Grace's lack of hygiene, yes. I'm not driving, I'm traveling. The technicalities.
Subsequent to this, we were thrown out of the camping system we were part of, and our membership was not refunded to
For
us.
us causing a disturbance.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
When from the police report,
They didn't return the money. Big mistake. There's another lawsuit. Ben, they can't withhold your they're kicking you out. They can't kick you out and steal your money. That's fucked up.
it was the manager of the camp
Yeah.
who wanted some drama.
Yeah. My favorite part, though. Oh, I wish I could find it.
How can you cause a disturbance by being in the bathroom of your RV?
I have no idea. I'm trying to find if there was the time.
And this is also the stream where Ethan Ralph like finally has his moment where he could like really go for the jugular, and he just tries to give the same fucking advice that everybody gives Grace, and Grace returned the favor by reminding him that he was a Xanax addict.
Damn. When they were looking in the trees for him, that was the best part. I think he's in the trees. That was a good one. That one got almost 10K. I thought that was gonna go a little more viral than it did, but yeah. Anyway, so that was the arrest.
You guys are probably partially shadow banned to some degree.
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's my cope for everything. Is
Yes.
that shadow banned?
I'm fully down for a whiteboard lawsuit breakdown. I want to review the stream after we get through this stuff. I want to get through I want to do the one where they do the whiteboard on the landlord, or they run down the landlord demands. I really like that stream.
Well, anyways, we can skip to the people know about the arrest. So then we showed up this morning at 8:30.
Well, Ben, instead of a streamer hotel, or in addition to a streamer hotel, when you get the 1,000 trails park in the settlement, why don't you just put a streamer in each of those spots? There's so many streamers that do the RV life.
30.
Yep. Oh,
You-
okay. Yeah. Got it.
You were told by my quote lawyer that you could just
Lauren De Laguna. Lauren De Laguna is the only Thorpeter that like I find no entertainment value in whatsoever.
talk to the DA's office and it was likely to be dismissed.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So at about, I would say, 8:45, not long after we got there, Grace talks, excuse me, to prosecutor.
A streamer campground would open up a lot of options because there's probably people who would be down for like a semi-communal atmosphere, but they don't want to like shit in proximity to other people all the time.
So I went in to talk to the prosecutor, and I said, like, I want this case dismissed. I am supposedly the victim in this, but I think this was a huge misunderstanding. He started.
Didn't Ben's public defender try to stop him from supporting his own case with testimony? Lauren looks good in a bikini.
By telling me, like, well, there was a restraining order against you and your father, like that you put against your father, and that's what he's like. That's what the violation is. And I was like, no, there never was a restraining order.
Yeah.
I never had a restraining order against him.
The problem is in the state of Massachusetts, they have restraining orders. And because I came up in the system as having a restraining order that had nothing to do with you, this is where the misunderstanding came into play.
Mm-hmm.
A restraining order is taken out by one person against another.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And usually the way it's enforced is the person who is the complainant makes a complaint and claims to be a victim. But I suppose that, I don't know what they look like in Massachusetts, but they usually have like very strict parameters about what you can and can't do. Sometimes it's some amount of feet. But
Grace, what's your allergen level at this point from the cat? We've had multiple sneezes. How are you holding up?
there was none. Even the judge today said, was the restraining order dropped?
What?
And
Are they confused?
well, so in the report they cited the restraining order.
Your lawyer's advice was to stop streaming and stop Grace from streaming. Yeah, that's pretty much what I figured. I figured that was probably the case. I mean, they're going to try to take. They want like the easiest path for them, not for you.
But they were straight.
Did you explain to him that there are a lot of people out here that depend? What's this? Your lawyer, Ava, should sue your lawyer for trying to take food off of her table, Ben. Ava, Ruby, me, Princess, we'll all get into a class action lawsuit against your public defender.
They recited the one, the only restraining order there is, which is the one that Grace's mother filed. So
Yeah, they said they
anyways,
confirmed with the Rhode Island court that the restraining order
Was that lawyer even thinking about Ava when he said that?
was active until August 7th, 2024. That was my mother's restraining order because I distinctly remember that restraining order was supposed to end August 7th.
Oh.
It had nothing to do with mine. I never had one.
So what? I'm not really understanding how any of this.
So then the prosecutor showed me the paper for the no contact order. And I was like, okay, yes, this was in place. The original charges for it were dropped, and I have gotten this dropped by the Rhode Island court. I think this was a misunderstanding. I didn't call the police about any of this. I don't want to pursue this. And he was like, so what do you want out of this? I was like, well, I just want the whole thing dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, okay, well, I'll make a note of that. And if you want the whole thing dismissed, like, it sounds like this was a misunderstanding. I'll go talk to the cops.
They usually
and
want these things.
we
dismissed.
should
They don't
have this
want
dismissed by
trials.
9:15. That's what he told me. We should have this dismissed by 9:15.
Okay.
And that was at 8.
There's an entire network of Thorpiters that need that steady flow of content.
8:45 or so.
Got it.
So then we're sitting there waiting. It's 8:50. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9:10. It's 9:15. And I saw that the guy who said, thanks for.
So, El Jim, you think instead of streaming that they should just get like a regular job or what? You'd like to see them just kind of just settle into like a more normal lifestyle is what you're saying?
Fine, but we got him. Officer McAsshat.
Does he
came
know
in.
he's an E-celebrity now? Thanks
Oh,
for
I'm
that.
sure. I'm sure. Oh, no, I forgot to mention. So when the prosecutor opened his file for the case, it was a stack of papers, like it must have been this thick. And on top of it were like 3 CDs. 3
Oh,
DVDs.
yeah, the DVDs.
So when he opened the folder, I was like, there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
Like this, because
which my attorney had access to.
yeah,
He had spoken to me for maybe 90 seconds total.
yeah.
Never shared any of it with
Did you ever get the CDs? Can you even access them like as part of your defense or whatever?
me. I don't think he even looked at it himself. Which this causes a problem because if I'm not acting as my own attorney, I don't have access to the evidence. But if my
Right.
attorney doesn't communicate with me, I also don't have access to the evidence. So the only 2 pieces of advice he gave me is when I was in jail, he told me to.
I've got in some requests, Mackenzie, for some on a couple incidents for body cam footage. It does make you wonder because you know that these public defenders, which I think his lawyer was a public defender, they do have like they do carry a heavy caseload. And you do kind of wonder if you do have a case like this that's kind of, but then I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on how much the streaming factors into the case.
Say that I had no idea that Grace was there, which wasn't true. So he's saying like lie, which an attorney is not supposed to make. He didn't say it he said it in some.
South to West, do you think that most people really underestimate the stress of the legal system?
Many words like you never saw her, and I was like, well, I was kind of aware that she was there.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I think a lot of public defenders are probably like skilled at what they do, but they're just like, even if you want to do good and you're skilled, like if your caseload is crazy, and I'm assuming that like the those defenses are obviously not going to be as well funded for like optional things, and it's just kind of it seems like a real uphill battle for the public defenders.
you had no awareness she was there. And I was like, okay, I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? But the problem is, if I had followed his advice there, they would have brought up the witnesses. And so, like, it has to do with, well,
What's a public defender's incentive, though? Well, I mean, yeah, right. I mean, absolutely. That's going to be person to person. I mean, some of them are just going to be like clock punchers, you know? You don't think their caseload is crazy? It might not be. Imagine trying to find out which side is good. No, I don't think it's not finding about what's good, but I think like your lawyer, you want them to have as much context and awareness of what you do and what's going on so that they can build the best possible defense for you, even if you're guilty, even if you're a terrible person. You at least hope that your lawyer has the resources needed to make a case for you. I don't think they probably care about who's good. I would think so, Grace, is that they would want to. I don't think that's the final destination for a lot of lawyers. It's not where they want to be at. So if you can kind of build a name for yourself through that way. And then there are people who are just like, you know, genuinely civic-minded people, you know, who want to help people that otherwise wouldn't get a good or adequate defense to get one.
Then of course he would have said, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, he gave me bad advice. And then in preparation,
He didn't look at any of the evidence. What was on the CDs? What a mystery.
for this, he basically said it's going to get dismissed. He didn't go over the evidence or anything like that. He said it's likely to get dismissed.
Was this a
I
public
can't
defender
promise.
or like a
Yeah.
lawyer? Okay, yeah.
But he didn't
So
talk to
they
me
don't give a
before
fuck about anything.
or after it,
Oh, they don't give
other
a
than
fuck
to
about
tell me.
anything.
So his advice today was,
They just want you
don't
out
pursue
of their
your
face.
livelihood. Have your daughter not pursue her livelihood. Don't do anything on stream. And I said, well, I'm an American. I have a First Amendment right. And he said, I don't know if you do. And I said, what
Isn't
does
that
mean?
crazy? Isn't that crazy to say?
That's wild for someone who works
I mean,
for
to
the
his
court
credit,
to say that.
to his
That's so
minor credit,
fundamental.
you could say he was only.
That could definitely be the case, El Jim. And I think here sometimes too, it's that there are probably, I don't know about colluding with them, but I think there are probably people in that public defender position who meet somebody and they're just like, you know, hey, fuck this individual. Like, I don't like him. I'm not going to put any effort in. I'm not going to, you know, and that's like your legal options. That's pretty grim.
Giving me advice as a lawyer, because you can say, well, you know, it's not bad advice to say, like, try to make the most.
Even if you dislike Ben and you think he's guilty of everything, but you certainly still want him to have an adequate legal defense, right? Because that way, if he goes to court and he has a competent and adequate legal defense, then there's no excuses. Like, you go to court with everybody, you know, properly prepared for the case, and then you find out you run it in front of the judge or in front of the jury and you get a decision. But even if you don't like him, you should still want him to have proper legal representation, in my opinion, because you want it in the end see justice done, and you don't want opportunities it just to be another thing like, oh well, I lost because my lawyer sucked or whatever. Does that make sense?
Extreme case, but he didn't go on the nuance, like what the evidence was. And then secondly, to say, like, well, don't do anything, you know, I would advise you not to incriminate yourself. Okay, fine, but we never talked about the case itself ever.
You think that his lawyer is competent, but Ben is sabotaging his defense? Anon J, I understand what you're saying, that like he had the money and he spent it on something else. But I think Ben might make the argument that that wasn't his money. Or if you're talking about like the YouTube income, if you're talking about the gifted money or whatever, I'm not super familiar with that. But ultimately, the way that it looks in the eyes of the system, it doesn't really matter if you spend your money wisely or not. I think it all comes back to, no matter what you've done, no matter how you've gotten into this situation, like, you deserve competent legal counsel. even if you pissed all your money away, you still, you still deserve legal counsel, no matter what your crime is, whatever. Like, everybody deserves a competent lawyer, even if, like, we feel like societally they don't, like, they do, in my opinion anyway.
And so, I mean, he just seems like his thing is like, how little work can I do, but I don't really care.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, but the problem is he's part of the system, so he was palling around with the prosecutors, and he seemed to say like, hey, like, I'm not here to answer your questions, which is not how it goes. He's supposed to be representing me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's all about
in
as
a
little effort as they
conflictual,
can.
the way it's set up is it's a conflict. My rights versus the state's whatever interests.
What Ben's talking, are you talking about what he's saying right now, Chris? I'm kind of like, I'm almost like in a, I'm in like a little bit of a weed haze, if we're being honest. I'm not a free speech absolutist, I guess, because I think, like, there are like legal consequences to some forms of speech, but, like, I think I would want, like, as much possible freedom of speech and freedom in general as possible. I'll be real with you. Like, I'm in like a weed trance, Chris. I'm just hearing the steady flow of Ben's of Ben's talking.
Mm-hmm.
So he's supposed to represent me as zealously as possible.
I'm also kind of picturing like Ben I'm trying to, like, I'm imagining like Ben and his lawyer interacting. I feel like that would be really good content.
Within the law.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to tell me to lie, and he's also not supposed to leave me out of it and just say, I'll handle it.
Yeah.
We're all good. And then he's also not supposed to, I mean, we never talked about the case.
Right, that's a benefit to having really broad free speech, is that if you do disagree with something somebody says, the more they talk about it, the easier, and Ben seems to feel the same way about the Discord. Why he lets Shamu and people like that stay in the Discord is Ben views it like the more freely they speak, and they view it like the more Ben speaks in the VC, the better it is for them.
Right.
Like, so I have to have a legal case against him, which means I again have to have a lawyer.
And we even went to the police station, and we went to the state police I got these reports, and the state police were like, what? They were to him, they were like, don't you have a lawyer? And he was like, yeah, I have a public defender. And they even knew the defender's name, and they were like, but he has all the evidence. He can give this to you. And he was
He didn't share any of the evidence.
Hasn't shared any of it. And they were like, what?
He didn't talk about me for a minute, but was just like hanging out in court, and I, approached him, and he was like, I don't know.
Meinhardt says about 85% of restraining orders issued against men. A significant share of restraining orders are filed for strategic advantage.
That's true, Ben. It is, yeah, it's Grace's Discord. But I think I think it applies. I think you guys don't mind. You guys are open to letting them communicate in that space because you feel like that's kind of gathering information for you guys.
In pursuing divorce or child custody. And also he was saying that restraining orders first came into effect when second wave feminism hit, and like they.
Well, Chris, if to your question earlier about what I thought about this, I think I don't know that equating or linking some of these legal issues to whether they were spurred on by feminism is probably a great legal strategy, but I don't think that's like the crux of Ben's defense.
A restraining order is a weird legal vehicle because I do think I'm not sure what the purpose of them is or like how they make any sense, because it's just super escalatory. So it negates the possibility of communicating. And if someone is truly dangerous, it would escalate the situation, because it doesn't give you a 24/7 cop there. It just says.
It can't. That's why I didn't go to the police over my stalker.
Ben-
I really think people should try to work things out through communication. And if a crime is committed, a crime is committed. This idea, let's make a fuzzy area, especially because in Rhode Island, these restraining orders, you don't have a public defender because they're civil.
Right.
I've never taken a restraining order out on anyone because, yeah, I just think it's like, it's lawfare. It's not.
You can't be.
Chris, is that because, Ben, you're still in here, you might be able to shed some light on this, but is this because from Ben's perspective, the no contact order was essentially one-sided, right? Like Grace could text him, or like she could call him and talk, but he couldn't. Is that the way they were? Was that the way that kind of it was looked at? Was that like, since it was no contact, that if like they were in a shared space but he wasn't like interacting with her? I think that, if I'm remembering it right.
You can have more new births too. I have.
If someone's really dangerous, I wouldn't take a restraining order on them. And if they're not dangerous, you don't need a restraining order. So I don't really get how they're helpful. Either someone commits a crime or they don't.
I think it can deter a certain type of individual from not escalating if they're afraid they'll get arrested. But
How's it going, Distinction? Mama T. W. Pizditz?
it's very precarious and it can escalate. That's why I haven't done it either.
Well, I
I've
don't
just
understand.
done like warnings.
What's the scenario
like,
that it helps out? Give me an example.
If like some people are like, they're not completely disorganized, impulsive criminals. They're like maybe obsessing over someone and like wanting to continue contact, but will be deterred by like a restraining order. That's like the idea. I get the concept, but I also think it can also just escalate. And that's why I haven't done it either in my personal life.
Well,
So,
I would just tell someone to stop contacting you.
but it's for like the last resort if they don't. Some people are really.
Well, yeah, Chris, I mean, we'll find out. Yeah, I'm just trying to, I was just remembering, like, I was just trying to piece together that that's the way that it was being viewed, you know. That's why when the cop asked you during the arrest if you were violating the order and you said no, that's because you weren't violating the order because it was a one-way thing, right?
Lunatics, like it will.
But then you would
keep
say
on.
any further contact would be harassment,
Yeah.
and that's a crime.
I
And
think
so
which, okay, I know that the violation of the NCO was in Massachusetts, right? But where was the state where the original NCO was issued? Was that in Rhode Island?
what is a
It's
restraining
like
order
another
help?
level that like helps your legal case too. Because if they violate it, it's more likely they'll get like jail time or something. I think.
But I don't understand. Like, if most of them are issued by, like, in a domestic situation, and you have kids, how is that helpful? Because you're still a parent, so you can So all of a sudden, I'm living my life, and all of a sudden, I get a restraining order. A day prior, I was playing Risk with my kids, and the government.
It could be abused for sure.
Well, but I mean, so then I haven't been able to talk to my kids in 14 months based on a provable lie. And also, there's never been any evidence given about the kids. Nothing, not a shred. It's just the word abuse. No evidence whatsoever has been, oh, I can't talk about this.
No, I forgot. No, you can't talk about it.
Yeah. It's hard to like
Just
When
move
there's
on.
somebody
And there's
That's
another
opposite.
pointless thing. You can't talk about your own life.
I can't film my. Well, I guess I understand why my clinic called. I had to take down some videos today because I'm not supposed to film at my doctor's office. Trying to shut us down out here.
I really think the larger theme here is when there's a new form of media or a technological advance, the court system tends to be way behind,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
yet
yeah.
it adjudicates in real time. So they're boomers,
Yeah.
right? That's why you
Yeah.
have like DVDs.
Yep.
Like, why would you have a DVD?
I know, it's crazy. They're so behind on everything.
And like, it's interesting in the courtroom because it said no cell phones allowed, and yet you presented your cell phone. They put it through the
The
X-ray machine and
Oh,
gave it to you
yeah.
on the other end because they realized you might need to contact
We're not even allowed to take cell phones inside of courthouses here. You can if you're a lawyer, but you can't otherwise.
your attorney or whatever.
Yeah.
So either take down the sign that says no cell phones allowed, or I don't know what. But they
Yeah.
also say no recording, but every cell phone is a recording device. So
Mhm. It's ridiculous.
like you got to make sense of it. But they go, well, we'll just selectively enforce when we feel like it, which gives them all of the power. But you even have this little big man. This is what was interesting about the police report, which I, by the way, was not able to access.
Right.
They denied my request for the
Hey, Ben, were you ever able to find out what was on those CDs?
police report about me
Really?
because of
Because it's
domestic violence.
It's related to domestic violence.
Because we have to protect the victim.
Yep.
So she had
Oh,
to.
so you
I had
can't-
to leave,
He had
and
to
then she
leave.
had to go in by herself,
Oh,
and they'll
I-
give it to
yeah.
the victim, and the victim
Got
is free to give it to whoever she wants to.
Yeah. And I'm
But-
free to share it.
This is absurd.
Before they gave it to me, they were like,
I can't
"Is
know
he
what I'm
forcing
being
you to
accused
do
of.
this?"
I have to talk to my lawyer, but my lawyer is also not sharing it, not in the same way. Anyway, it's just absurd, right?
Yeah.
So I can't even know what I'm being accused of, but whatever. So, but even in the report, this is where
There are also an inordinate amount of Ruby crotch shot screenshots on the Discord from this stream.
it's going to get really tricky. And if there's a practicing Massachusetts lawyer out there, this guy was so out of it that he wrote the report knowing the full interaction was on video. He knew that because he mogged to the camera at the end.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And yet he still
He knew.
lied about the interaction on the
Ah.
report,
What the heck?
which is a sacred duty. I don't think they take it under oath, but it is understood that you are not going to alter the facts,
Yeah.
right? That's
Huh.
like a sacred duty that we trust that you are going to.
Grace has given up on the whiteboard. I was wondering when it was going to happen.
Relay only what you know and not add stuff to incriminate someone. That is a career-ending move. And yet this guy did it knowing full well that it was all out there on video. He could have simply reviewed the video, his own footage
Mhm.
and your footage to double check, but he didn't.
Mm-mm.
He added lies.
Oh, man. Cabana Man Dan, how come you wouldn't bring Aphrodite up the other night? You really cucked the content.
Why? I don't know, but I think these people are so used to lying and feeling like they're above the law. Can you imagine what he does when the camera's not on?
Yeah, because cops don't always turn their cameras on.
I know about being an authority because, I had situations that I was called to the principal's office for, and of course, it's easy to lie if you're the one in authority about what the kid did, but it's very, very dicey
Yeah.
if you get caught in your lie.
Yeah.
And even back then, kids had cell phones. And I just feel like if you're lying, doing your duty as a cop, then you shouldn't be a cop. So I'm glad.
I like Aphrodite. I think she's got a fun personality. I think she's fun to watch, especially if she's like worked up or talking about conspiracies or something. But I think she was I don't know if she watched it, but she's hostile toward me now since Grace told her I made that reaction video to her breakup.
Glad you have a great relationship with your doggies, but I'm not so sure that the town of Sturbridge or the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is going to be fun again anymore. So you might want to head over to the dog pound and find a couple of non-police doggies that you could pal around with, because I don't think you understand your job.
Hey, Ben or Grace, are you guys live reacting to the are you live reacting to the debate tonight?
I don't think so, yeah.
And if you want to be a big man and start shit with tall guys because you've got insecurities, go ahead and do that. But you ain't gonna have the Commonwealth of Massachusetts backing you up.
Yeah. Hello, Mr.
Hey.
Kevin, still famous.
We're on stream.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, you don't have to like interact. You don't have to look at them. That's Kevin. You met him the other night.
I'm not wrenching your ass after you cock blocked Aphrodite.
Ben,
Mhm.
Kevin.
Devin, how you doing?
Yeah, Kevin. He just has to get ready for work, so he'll be.
But
There's a great clip. I'm not trying to start drama. That's just a clip that exists. But there's a great clip of Ruby's brother talking about Ben and Grace.
I did enjoy talking shit in the courtroom because I was sat right behind him, and I was talking shit about like, oh, look at him, look at his uniform, look at the big guy with his canine uniform.
You think they're gonna destroy him? Now hold on a second, Grace. Ruby was legitimately trying to set you up with her brother, because I remember you clickbaited the title of her stream to try to help her get her like a viewer boost, but she was actually trying to.
I got nervous. I was like,
You
Dad.
definitely heard me saying that. Whoa, look at him.
And he's like, oh, going to collect
vest.
your check?
Bulletproof vest. I guess he's scared. And then when he left, I talked shit. Yeah, that's a half day's work.
Who was the dude that was in the VC? And he was one of the few people that had a cam on the entire time. He didn't talk very much, but he was smoking weed, and his camera was like super pixelated. Did anybody else see that guy? I thought that guy was pretty neat. Oh no, I don't feel like anybody should try to. I think it's a weird vibe if someone were to try to set you up with somebody.
Him and his doggies, half day's work, going to go have lunch on the taxpayer's dime for doing nothing. And here's the problem.
Like, and not as that's. I don't mean that in a negative way. It just seems like you're not really interested in anybody, and it's just like a. But I guess maybe people think like, oh well, Grace isn't interested in anybody, but she'd certainly be interested in, XYZ.
That wasn't the first time. That wasn't the second time. That was the third time I was.
Yeah, his name was like Tolstoy or something. I thought he was great. I put him as like the featured image during the Darius and Ava session.
Told by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as an out-of-state resident that I had to show up at a certain time to defend myself from these charges. And they still didn't even have the most basic, they weren't ready for anything. They requested yet again a delay, which now puts.
Spicoli tried to play Cupid. Did he try to talk about putting his penis inside someone's vajayjay?
It into October, even though this happened June 11th. The police report was written in the early morning of June the 12th.
Yep.
Okay, but it took them until September.
I like Grace's vibe here. She looks like she could be performing on stage in Nashville. I like it.
To present to the DA a case. Now, you know why that
Respectfully, Ben. I'm saying that about your daughter respectfully.
is? You know why they're all of a sudden so interested? You know why they had not only the little big man and his doggies, they not only had them, they had another officer with another truck and another detective with another truck,
3 people from
another
the
car
Police
from
Department.
Sturbridge who spent their whole mornings. That's 3
Wow.
municipal employees with full benefits plus 2 doggies.
Did you create a whole account to do nothing but come in and tell me that Grace will never date me? What the fuck?
5 creatures, 3 human, were brought to this case because they're worried. What are they worried about? They're worried that if the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which had every impetus to go, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever, until 8:45 this morning, if the Commonwealth said, yeah, this looks crazy, sorry, bro, then what does that open the door to? That opens the door to a civil.
I think that's because Spicoli is kind of anti-Ben right now. And he wants to talk to Ben about the child support more than anything. Okay, I'm reading this as a favor to Grace. This is a text that Ruby sent her. It says, try reading the Bible and praying on your own sometime. Ben turned his back on God. He's leading you astray. So I'm just reading that on behalf of Grace.
Rights suit.
Yes.
That my rights were trampled, utterly trampled in the course of this investigation and arrest, that I spent the night on a cold, and I didn't even realize this. I was denied bail. I slept all night on a.
My girlfriend is the gas. Hell yeah. Spicoli's getting old. I feel like he still hits it every once in a while, but he does need to get back to let's get the likes up. I missed that part. Yeah, you're pro Ben. Oh boy. You're going to have fun in the Discord.
Concrete slab.
It's terrible.
And was dragged in like an animal. They didn't even so much as give me a pair of socks to wear. I was barefoot all night, freezing all night. It's just one night. But what I'm saying is the dogs, the drones.
Ben, but can you admit that it was kind of all worth it because you got that one McDonald's breakfast that like hit just perfect?
The 5 officers, the state trooper. It's going to look hella bad for them as to what, and I don't even know exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
What were they doing when they came to the campsite?
Right.
What were they doing?
What were they doing?
And why was it necessary to do it in this way?
Spicoli is all about the child support now. It's all he talks about.
And that's why I want a lawyer, because
Spicoli tags me in like 100 shorts that he makes of Ben's comments from the VCs.
Hide what their policies are. I asked them, do you have a copy of your policies? The guy said, well, there's so many thousands of policies. You're going to have to tell us which one and fill out a form and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but you must have a policy for canines and you must have a policy best practices, because they got a big thing on when you walk into the police station saying they.
Well, and someone was like, wasn't the guy like kind of cool to you? Like he showed you some good old fashioned human kindness. Prayers for Ben. His life is as difficult as the Palestinians. I do like it when Ben compares himself to the Palestinians.
They were accredited by the Massachusetts accreditation association. But you go to that website to find out what are the best practices, because there's like 170 of them, right? And you can't find out from them what the accreditation is.
Yep.
But there are all these best practices, and I'm sure those practices were not followed, which means they weren't following their own policies, which opens them wide up. For example, I know when you're releasing dogs, you have to form a perimeter. Generally speaking, you have to be very careful if there's kids around, if it's a public place, both of which was true. And plus, what were they trying to smell?
Right, you
They didn't have a.
What does anybody? I haven't had a chance to actually watch the footage. I just timestamped it. But is there any? What was the reasoning for Get Crack for Me and them reviewing Grace's dating stream this morning? I thought that's kind of random. What's up, Yeti Life?
Scent for me.
They didn't have a scent.
I know. How would that?
Drone use is highly regulated. Okay, so
I still get
you can't use drones just to thermally look for people.
Yeah.
Just like you and your dad, like just seeing that live blew my fucking mind.
It was insane.
I was like, what the fuck am I seeing right now?
Why didn't this investigation ever include a phone call to either Grace or me? And why didn't subsequently? I was there for a whole night. No one asked me a single question.
Really?
No, there's no investigation.
What the fuck? I mean, you are.
And then they bring forth a restraining order that's got nothing to do with.
It seemed like a pretty long segment too. I'll have to go back, but it looked like it was like a multi segments of the dating stream. I just never seen that on John Galt before.
With me, with Grace.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't even add up. It is a violation because if there's no crime that they can actually have you, all of this shit is traumatizing. You know, having the dogs, the drones, spending a night in jail, all that bullshit. Like,
it's
you're
crazy.
being harmed, and your rights are being violated in that way if there's no substance to the initial.
And all of it is this, like, well, you made contact, but there
I really like this like coal miner's daughter vibe Grace has going on.
isn't. They don't know what a no contact order because it's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. They don't have this regime, right? And even on their charging papers, it had a place for the.
No, Aphrodite wanted to come up on that stream where it was like you and what's that guy's name? The Undertaker guy and somebody else. Aphrodite wanted to come up and you wouldn't bring her up.
Victim to sign. There is no victim. The only possible victim they could claim is that the state of Rhode Island was the victim, which is crazy. But they're saying they're a victim on behalf of the state of Rhode Island. And I just think they're begging the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to back them for their utter incompetence.
I really do think.
And the
that's
state
true.
in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yeah, King, that's who was in there. Yeah. What was up with that? Did anybody else watch King speed date Jeremy? That was an interesting segment.
It was like, all right, let's delay this and figure out what's going on. But even in doing that, they're once again like the judge said to them, well, why aren't we ready to proceed? Okay, because the judge is saying there's
south to west multi-jurisdictional incompetence. Absolutely.
One of the amendments, one of the part of the Bill of Rights is the right to a speedy trial, which means a trial that's a process that's like consonant with what first happened. Now I've got a criminal charge hanging over my head for not 1 month, not 2 months, not 3 months, but now it's going to be 4 months and into a 5th month for something which really is not controversial because it's captured on 5 video cameras.
Yeah.
And which their own argument for makes no sense. Because, but it's actually fine with me. Let's have a trial. Yeah, let's go. Let's get all of this out there because it's only making you look worse. I thought the Commonwealth of Massachusetts was going to be.
Your Make-A-Wish scenario is to talk to Ben. I mean, that you can do that you could probably persuade him into a VC. Oh, D-Dog was the one doing it. Okay. Well, he responded to my chats and was friendly, so I guess his tirade of calling me an F slur that one night is all forgiven. I think Ben would talk to you. I don't know why he wouldn't.
Be like, which they had been up to that point. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So then when we went into, so you understand, like, the Sturbridge police are different than the district court.
Can I get that?
The court is about, like, justice. The police are, like, about apprehending people who they believe are
I don't even
violating
know
the justice system, but they're not. They're not deciding.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they. I assume what they were there to do is arrest me for having.
I'm gonna clip that. Trad Girl explains the difference between police and the court.
Like, in other words, they had enough evidence to arrest me, but I don't know if that's true.
Because they can't. You can't.
Why couldn't they just put a warrant out for me?
Yeah. What?
And ask me to come in, right? Why wouldn't they just make a phone call? If they had enough evidence to arrest me, then why would you need 4 cars because why wouldn't you just make a phone call and say, could you come into the station?
Right? That seems like a lot.
I wasn't a fugitive. There was no warrant out for me. No one claimed I was dangerous.
No. Well, no, they couldn't put a warrant out for your arrest because they had no evidence that you had done anything against the law.
Well, but them showing up was somehow catching me in the act. The act of what? You being nearby me that's not me making contact with you. And what the state of Rhode Island gave me, the no contact order, it spells out, do not annoy this person.
Yeah.
I don't even think they understand.
So Grace, if I don't know if you can talk about it or if you want to say anything, but you've read the actual documents, right? Is there anything in any of the documents related to the NCO that says, like, that even references, like, a distance, like, at all? Is there anything in there like that?
Understand what a no contact order is, because it's a limitation on my behavior, not on your behavior.
No, it's not limiting me at all.
Although the state of Rhode Island is extremely vague, which is why I think the Commonwealth of Massachusetts doesn't have this legal vehicle.
They don't have any
because
such
it's
thing.
so confusing that I've had at least 5 different people in the justice system tell me 5 different things, one of which was a Warren Police Department officer who said I could arrest you if you're in the same town as her.
Mhm.
He said,
Why?
it's up to me if I want to arrest you.
No, that was
And the
crazy.
prosecutor for the town of Warren said that
Dan has a beef with Stanley? Okay, so if the NCO has nothing about distance, and again, I'm not a legal expert. I'm not saying anything definitively at all. But what do you do if you've got a no contact order that says don't annoy, harass, don't molest them? Like, if it's a proximity issue, I mean, there would have to be a cap on it, right? You can't just say, like, you can't exist on the same planet. They would have to say, like, typically like 500 feet, 1,000 feet, whatever. Like, if there's no measurement in there whatsoever, like, that's kind of weird. If they're expecting you to obey an order, there has to be, like, a boundary on that order, right? Again, I'm not a legal expert. I'm not saying that that's right. But I would just think if they were going to enforce proximity as part of it, then there should be something so that a cop can say, hey, he's across the street, but, you know, it's over 500 feet, so he can be over there. Or, hey, sorry, it's under 500 feet, so we gotta arrest you. If somebody in the chat understands the legalities around that better than me, please chime in.
police have no discretion, and he has all the discretion. So he is the babysitter of the entire town of Warren.
Yeah, which is
And
also
he said
not
that
true.
if anyone touches anyone in the town of Warren, they automatically are arrested, and he has absolute discretion and authority as to whether to prosecute, which is absolutely not true. So this is like the 10th level of Orwellian insanity.
Yeah.
And they're prosecuting a law that they're not even familiar with, which is why they called it a restraining order, referred to a different vehicle altogether.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with you.
Right. They don't know what they're doing. But I knew
Which is why they should have extradited me.
Yes.
If they wanted like to do this on behalf of the state of Rhode Island, they should either figure out what the hell the law is, or much easier, just extradite me to Rhode Island and have them choose whether
Ben should have got extradited just so he could tell people that he had been extradited.
to pursue it or not.
Exactly.
How can you have your legal system prosecute a law that you have no familiarity whatsoever with? And why isn't my fucking lawyer
discussing it with you?
talking about that?
Okay, so to add on.
Yeah, that's my issue with it. If there's no measurement or distance involved, how do you enforce that? Like, technically, you could be annoying someone just because they know you exist. Like what? There has to be a point to where the officer can say, like, look, this is the letter of the law. You're in violation of it, or you aren't. And I think if you're going to enforce proximity, there has to be a number there, because otherwise it's just a complete judgment call on behalf of the cop. Which I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying it seems like it's really difficult to enforce a law that literally has no parameters whatsoever.
To the lawyer thing. So we went into court.
But now I got to go in not June, not July, not August, not September, but October. And I got to go, this guy sucks. And then
yeah, regardless of what like the cops tell you, the only thing that matters is what's on that order. Because that's what's going to be like debated.
They're going to say to me, okay, let's delay it again to November. And then when I get there in November, they're going to say, are you sure you should really get representation?
Go pro se,
yeah, because I said to them, this lawyer sucks. And they said, well, he's the lawyer you're given.
You can't.
A lady outside said you could get a different one, but the clerk said, like, this is your lawyer. And I said, well, I don't feel like he's representing me at all.
Yeah.
He's only obfuscating. Like, I can't, I have no access to him. He doesn't share the evidence. Which, like, whatever, right? But like, he sucks. I'm better off on my own because I don't need a lawyer.
Don't need.
I also think that if you're going to enforce proximity, having a number on there benefits like the victim as well, because then they don't have to, there's no interpretation to it. They don't have to wonder like, oh, am I overreacting? Or there's no danger. It lessens the dangers to the victim if they can just, anytime they breach that actual boundary, then they'll get in trouble. I'll look at it, Grace, if you want to send it.
Yeah, the whole thing's totally crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to know how incompetent the lawyer is. So
they dragged me out of my RV.
Sorry, somebody's UPS is here. The dog's barking.
You will happen to be there, and they go, see, you're violating a no contact order.
Yeah.
Nobody in Rhode Island would say that's a violation of a no contact order.
No.
But they don't know what a no contact order is.
The reason they didn't want to extradite you is because they didn't want, like, the Sturbridge police didn't want that biting them in the ass. So they wanted you prosecuted in Massachusetts. Because if whatever Rhode Island did, Sturbridge police would at that point be like.
When I was an intake, there was a guy who was extradited from like Kentucky.
Really?
Okay, sorry about that.
And yeah, because he was there on gun trafficking charges.
Yeah.
And they extradited him, but it's
they should define what a building is. Yeah. Well, that's the good thing about if they put a number in, then there's literally no other discussion needed. Like, doesn't matter if you're in a building, if you're in a public place, if you're in a private place, like if you have that 500 feet or whatever, then there's absolutely no room for interpretation, which means enforcing the law is like super easy.
Expensive to extradite someone. And when he was like in the airport, I don't know how, maybe they have to have like marshals do it or something, right? Because it's interstate.
Mm-hmm.
So
What? Because it's
he's like, I ate at Chick-fil-A. I had everything on the menu because they told him might as well. It's on the federal government or something like that. So
you mean because they didn't want to extradite you because it's expensive?
I don't know. I mean,
oh, you're saying like you think that maybe they took pictures of Ben and Grace interacting at the campground, maybe?
Like,
it's the next state over.
They're the two closest states
like
in the country.
You couldn't be closer to another
and
state.
You would think you're going to extradite someone if your own laws don't have this law. How is the justice system going to deal with another state's? You see what I'm saying?
It's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like a courtesy, but I think the Commonwealth of Massachusetts should sue the state of Rhode Island to say, like, your law makes no sense. How are we supposed to be like homies and like we're gonna like follow your laws and like prosecute people who are disobeying your laws when your law makes no sense?
Yeah.
What does no contact mean? The most basic thing.
Yeah, the cops definitely were mentioned eyewitnesses as a big part of their case.
About a law is that it's clear. That's the most it's the easiest thing to get thrown out of court is if it's vague. Judges hate vague laws because they can be used to harass people.
Yeah, right.
A law should be clear.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time I had any clarity was like one of the times I was brought like before. Oh, it was when I was picked up in East Greenwich. I was dragged at night up to a black judge, and he said, no contact is no contact. Well, that's not clarifying.
No.
And then I spent 12 days in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, it says it is, well, hold on. Shall not harass, interfere with, molest, or threaten the victim in any manner, directly or indirectly. And then it gives the order of the effective date. Yeah, the above-named defendant is enjoined and restrained from any contact with the alleged victim. And then it's got information on her, and then it says, then that's when it comes in with its further order that the defendant shall not harass, interfere with, molest, or threaten the victim in any manner, directly or indirectly. I don't see anything on here that there's no, like, you have to stay 500 feet away, nothing like that. So I don't see anything on there that's like, that says any particular distance or whatever. It just says, Ananje, I agree, but I think though, the way Ben's interpreting it is that he can't have contact with, it doesn't say that Grace can't have contact with.
And said like, I guess I get it because I don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
But no one's ever clarified what it means. Contacting.
However you feel about it, right? Whether you think it's valid or invalid, wouldn't you agree that all of this would have been solved from a legal perspective if there had been, and I'm not saying that they would have obeyed it. They might have not, they might have or might not have, but it would be much easier to interpret this situation if this no contact order just said, stay 500 feet away from the alleged victim. Then there's no room for interpretation, and it's just, it's easy to interpret, easy to enforce, easy to follow if you want to.
Mean one of three things. It could mean physical contact. I think the common sense meaning is do not call or communicate with this person on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could mean something like do not, I don't understand, because they always said you could contact me.
Yes.
You
They
can
even said
do anything you want.
They said you.
So this is the basis, I think, for how the Thorps are interpreting it, is based off of what I don't know who they're talking about, talking to police officers or administrators or whatever, but they're saying that they were told directly that Grace could communicate with him, just not the other way around.
You could answer a phone call from me. You just couldn't say anything on your side.
You can communicate whenever you're the victim. You can communicate whenever, in whatever way you want.
Mm-hmm.
There's no limitations on you. You could walk, you could follow me around all day long, every day.
That's true.
Okay, but all of a sudden they understand what it means. Even though I didn't make contact with you.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they dragged me out, I didn't acknowledge your existence.
Nope.
And that's the general understanding of what it means. And I was told that you could live upstairs from me by the person.
It's like Hamelot says, don't you, correct. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that they can't enforce it based on these vague things. And I think that's kind of the point of maybe why some jurisdictions do it that way, so that they do have that extra layer of control or whatever. But I'm just saying that this would have been such an easier to read situation if they intended it to be enforced, just to spell out, make it exactly clear. And then on top of that, make sure that your people that are out in the field that are talking to people are telling them what's enforceable and what isn't. Like don't have something really vague on paper, and then your officers are saying, oh yeah, we don't interpret it strictly like that. And then they don't, there has to be it just needs to be easier to, clearly spelled out.
Who runs the system that I was under, justice assistance, he said, it's fine if you live upstairs from her. It's fine if there's incidental contact.
Yeah.
But then the Warren police told me they went and demanded to search the premises to see if I was there, because they don't understand what it means.
No, they don't.
Randomly, when I was incarcerated, they said, we want to search the place, and assuming if they found me in a residence that I had every right to be in, that I would be violation of no contact order. You can't have a law like that.
No, you can't. It's too vague. It's just too vague. Technically, according to their rules.
But it does say underneath it, you shall not annoy, harass,
yeah.
So that would imply that that's what it means. That's all that it says.
Yeah.
So then it would imply that you would have to be the victim of it, or feel like you're a victim of me contacting you.
Yes.
Not that you're in the same place.
Right. According to that law, to that order, I could technically be in the same room. I could call you.
Someone's gonna get a hell of a lawsuit.
Well, when there's conflict, that's when you need the communication the most.
Because I believe, I don't know exactly, but I believe the Supreme Court has said these type of laws are unconstitutional. It's impossible for someone to be a victim who's an adult who does not feel like they're a victim. What's interesting about it,
I feel like we're watching I feel like we're rewatching historical documents from a vault, and then I remember I'm all this happened in Ruby's living room, or no, her attic. Was it the attic?
is we're in a deep blue state, which is supposedly feminist, but it says that adult women are not capable of making their own decisions, and
Yeah.
the state has to make them on their behalf.
Right. Right.
But in practice, not even that law is followed. It says only in the case of substantial injury
Mhm.
or threat of immediate serious bodily harm or death.
Yep.
No one believed that was true, so they defy
No.
the law,
Yeah.
the extreme law,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just totalitarianism.
That's
And
right. They
it's-
defied their own laws.
and it's
the West.
women who suffer.
It's like the conversations at the Constitutional Convention in 1789. I gotta leave in a little bit. I'm so invested. I can't wait for tomorrow.
From it, because when I was brought before that court the last time, they tried to get me in contact with you so I could get out of there, so I wouldn't be a homeless person in Dudley, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And they know exactly who's paying the bail and all the rest.
Of course. They want our money.
It just looks like a scam.
Yeah. They want your money for the battery classes. They
Well,
want your money for the bail.
Little big man gets to enjoy his lunch on the taxpayers of Sturbridge, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And I want those lunches to be paid for by him. And he can have his own little doggy patrol. He could dog sit people
Sure.
for people. And he
Yeah,
can make
he
good
can make a
money
lot of
doing
money
that.
doing
They
that.
like little guys. They're not
Yeah.
that threatening.
Yeah.
Hey, puppy, here we go. Enjoy it. But you should not be wearing, I get it, bro. You like wearing
I'll look into it, but I'll report back on that tomorrow.
a uniform. That is not really why police officers are around. And terrorizing it's a really bad look to terrorize the victim
Oh no.
That you're supposedly protecting.
that you're supposed
The Munchkins. That's another great scene that's gone if that stream is down. Where Ben discusses getting that he only got 3 Munchkins or something.
to protect.
It is a very bad
It's
look.
not getting through to this guy. And I think that these people think they're part of a mafia and they'll just be protected all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Mhm.
And maybe they're right. Maybe it's just a criminal organization. The people who are supposed to defend you are actually told, don't defend them. Don't even do a decent job. Set them up to end up in jail. Maybe. I don't know. It seems like it's corrupt and insane. And there's no pushback and there's no questioning of these regimes.
Yeah.
Oh, good, because there is so much good stuff in that stream.
And I.
But
the
we were
supposed
talking about
victim.
we watched a thing about Candace Owens and the Jewish people, and
Including you verbally abusing me.
Do you have
there
that
is
blue
one
folder
thing
up?
about Jewish lawyers, and whatever the faults of Zionist Jews are, like Jewish lawyers, if they see big money, or any lawyer that sees big money and civil rights claims, especially class action suits, they tend to see dollar signs, and at a certain point, a system can become so lazy
Mhm.
and so insulated from any criticism that it is ripe for a massive, super expensive lawsuit, which I feel bad in the sense that it hits taxpayers. But man, these taxpayers,
Ben is always concerned for the middle class.
someone's got to clue them in that this is going to be a very expensive, like having little Bobby with his little outfit and his little doggies is going to cost you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Suffer.
Little Garrett feels better. IDGAF. Garrett needs to validate himself as a man in another way.
Other ways.
Going after non-violent people like they're people that like no one has said there's any violence involved here. Like you're hunting down,
Ted Kaczynski.
yeah, Ted Kaczynski or worse.
Ted
right?
Bundy.
Ted Kaczynski went easy. Like it's like going
I don't
after
know.
active terrorists like
Yeah.
they did like Boston Strong.
Mm.
And they used thermal drones then.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easy for them to do it, right? Terrorize people
Yeah.
who haven't done anything, who would be happy to talk to you, not hiding.
When does Grace ever come for Ava? I think she reacts like she's reactionary toward her, but I don't think she ever really comes for her.
From you, treating them like fugitives, terrorizing everybody in a campground in a tourist
Are you wanting more Grace Ava drama? Is that what you're saying?
area
Mm-hmm.
with
Sending
no
dogs,
regard,
sending dogs out.
going
No
on a
perimeter.
megaphone as if like you finally found like whatever, the Hillside Strangler.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
And he's locked and loaded with like 10 Uzis when I'm just trying to take a shit in my own bathroom in my own RV that's registered to me. Makes sense. Like, that's not going to play well.
Yeah.
But they begged. They ran in there and they begged the DA to back them.
Right, but I think Grace said those things like in response to. I don't think she said them like just randomly, I don't think.
I do believe
and
that's
if the
what
Commonwealth
happened.
of Massachusetts, which was kind of ambivalent, ends up backing them, then we'll take them to task too.
Absolutely.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you know how much money you can go after there?
Lots. It's Massachusetts. It's not a poor state.
Because the Department of Justice,
well, it's about to be,
has jurisdiction over all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Department of Justice is about to have a change in its commander-in-chief.
Grace, you do mock her weight sometimes. Not very often, though.
And I think...
Is that right?
Who do you think, what department do you think what branch of government is that part of? That's the executive branch.
Yeah.
That comes...
Whenever she had a beach stream that got deleted, but you thought she had banned you, so I went into her chat and asked and told her to unban you to be the bigger person, and then you came in and said, it looks like Ava already is the bigger person. Maybe that's why Ava doesn't like me.
It's under the president.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a president who, like, I think I'm a perfect case
Mm-hmm.
of the injustice that's gone on.
You think Ben and Grace are afraid of Glenn Lawrence? I think you were just shit talking Grace. I don't think you were like genuinely insulting her. You were just hopped up.
Under the Biden-Harris administration.
Absolutely.
It's political. It's anti-male. It's anti-family.
Mm-hmm.
It's
anti-woman. It's anti-woman. They don't listen to me.
Anti-woman.
I know, that is crazy that you have no agency or they're not respecting your
This entire
like, how does that
thing.
make you feel? It makes you feel.
I've asked her multiple times to let me review that stream because your back and forth with her is really good, and she won't. She privated the video.
Feel like you are, and it's like oppressive to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not
This
trying to
entire-
throw shade on the
this entire
Commonwealth of
thing-
Massachusetts, but
this entire
because I
thing-
think they recognize
Yeah.
that Rhode Island is trying so hard to be like even more.
Are you talking about the production of Man guy? I think they've both been on there recently, haven't they?
More right that it's a joke. It's like a mafia system. I've been told by lawyers that it's a mafia system, that in Massachusetts they don't do this thing, but that in Rhode Island it's all who you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to know a lawyer who knows the judge, and then everything can go away.
Mm-hmm.
But if you aren't able to, I was told by a lawyer who's practiced for 30 years, if you don't have a lawyer who knows the judge, in Massachusetts, you get a fair hearing, and Rhode Island, you do not. And that is not justice.
That's not, yeah.
I cited the law to a judge and a prosecutor in Rhode Island.
The prosecutor.
And the prosecutor laughed out loud.
Yeah, I was there.
And the judge didn't reprimand him for doing so.
Mm-mm. But she let you read the law.
She just shrugged her shoulders and passed it on.
If you like this little anecdote about the prosecutor or whoever laughing, Ben does a much more dramatic reading of it. On the We Explain Our Housing Crisis stream. It's really funny.
But someday a judge is.
And Grace, like, she has like a big reaction to it. She's like, I couldn't believe it.
I think it's going to end up in the Supreme Court. A judge is going to go, this is crazy. It defies every basic legal, philosophical legal principle. Innocent until proven guilty. You don't punish people in order to get them to plead. You can't torture people. And even remember that guy outside of the courtroom? He's like, Rhode Island? Oh man, I would not set foot in that state if you gave me all the tea in China.
Yeah, I remember.
Because it's legendary how corrupt Rhode Island is, even compared to Massachusetts, which is a deep blue state.
Yeah.
This is why Ben has to do a meetup with Truthfully Trisha. They both view themselves as the Rosa Parks of their situations.
Rhode Island.
But we're deep blue plus retarded.
Yeah.
And
right.
I've
absolutely
encountered, I can't talk about anybody in specifically, but all I see is third-rate law school and people who are not paying attention to what they're saying.
What are you talking about? They were just on Glenn Lawrence. What are you talking about? I'm too high for some of your comments today.
And don't care about anything because it's a it's a one-party state.
Yeah. Even though.
And they're all lazy. They're all lazy.
At least 45 to 50% of that state is Republican, generally speaking. Yeah. Especially the lower class, right?
I would say the values of...
Remember that night Ava and Ruby both dropped diss tracks on each other? That was so random and epic.
Rhode Island are red state values, but the elites in Rhode Island who are always trying to catch up to Boston because we're the like retarded little brother.
Yeah, right.
Are always trying to out Boston, out Massachusetts, out feminist Massachusetts.
Gantstar, how about if I go on Glenn Lawrence and I roast Glenn Lawrence on behalf of the Thorps since they're scared of him?
Feminism. And they've gone way too far. And they've subjected themselves to a massive...
can I tell you something?
Massive legal action against them. This thing of gateway insurance, like the gateway healthcare. Do you understand like how bad it looks? They didn't even follow the basic precepts that they were supposed to follow in publishing and distributing the rules to the people in it.
Right. That's like Rhode Island law that you have to do that.
It wouldn't even have to be dating content. I would just love to see them have a conversation. I would love to see like a podcast with Ben and Trisha. I think it would be amazing. Grace is typing in all caps.
Tens of thousands of people should get a full...
She's butthurt because she's scared of Glenn Lawrence. Glenn Lawrence put her on blast. Grace pussied out. Now she's typing in all caps.
Refund plus damages. How can you say like, okay, we're contracted, you're a private business, you're being contracted by the state under...
Okay, no way. This has got to be bullshit. ThorpTV, he was saying how your family is a joke and trashy, looking for attention. Then he said he doesn't want to affiliate with drama. Glenn Lawrence said he doesn't want to affiliate with drama. So you called him out for his contradictions and got banned. Come on.
Clearly stated rules. You didn't follow those rules, not just for me, for anybody. There are no rules.
Yeah.
And yet you've charged all this money. All of those people should get a full refund for every cent they paid into that.
Absolutely.
Plus damages.
Yeah.
Do you know how much expensive? But, I hate to say the taxpayers of Rhode Island are going to pay, but well, you voted for these idiots.
Right.
It's the only way to hold them to
suffer
through that way.
Can I tell you something about Rhode Island versus Massachusetts in terms of like the feminism?
All of them should be fired. Everyone involved in that system, from Jeremy Weisinger all the way down,
that was an
should
amazing
lose their jobs,
by the way,
and never be able to practice psychology or anything like that again. Because
absolutely
everyone in that system should have said, well, we need to follow the law. Right?
Absolutely. They're being paid by the government.
They wantonly refused. How hard is it to come up with some people in the classes? How hard is it to come up with some procedures and policies? I did that the first day of every single class.
Do you think he's mad? If he is actually mad at you, do you think he's mad because last time your dad went on there, he questioned whether or not Glenn was a man? He questioned the host of a show called Production of Man as to whether or not he, in fact, himself was even a man. I think that was probably that's what set him off.
I said, here's the policies and procedures.
But you know
right?
what?
Your dad kept basically trying to get Glenn Lawrence to admit that it was okay to hit a woman, and Glenn was like torn because he didn't want to seem like a bitch, so he kept trying to like move up how much violence he was willing to engage in. And he's like, well, yeah, you know, if the bitch is asleep, I gotta slap her awake.
You know why they don't
The
give you
school
one?
had to publish a student handbook.
Mm-hmm.
How can you do something without letting the people know what you're doing and what the parameters are?
Right. But
Unless you're totally and utterly corrupt.
You know, yeah, that's why they make money. The government
And you
forces
think
people to take
that
these
the people
classes.
in this system are just going to bend over and take it, which they did largely, in my experience, because they don't want to cause any problems. Because look what happens when you do cause problems. Now you got to go back into the system. But man, when is the time we just stand up? It's like super easy. Now
Sounds like a bukkake. Yeah.
I need that lawyer who sees those dollar signs.
Yes.
To say like, yeah, I'll take them all on. Are you kidding? What is fatter than taking on?
There is no way that Glenn Lawrence said that he had been on to make an example. To make an example of him, he didn't even do a good job debating him. If you're a troll, you're a really good troll. I really like your comments.
Corporations
Mm-hmm.
and municipalities,
Especially Guy Lawrence.
And states.
Yeah.
Right.
Got big payouts for those lawyers.
Huge payouts.
Absolutely.
The only one where I can see dollar signs is Jacinda.
No.
Because you can't squeeze blood from a rock.
It's true.
But everybody else involved here, man, they should cover their ass. Like they should, like you should do at least the basic things.
Absolutely. They didn't because they're totally corrupt. The government forces people to take these classes. The people have to pay these instructors this money. They're making this much, whatever, how many thousands off per class. And they don't want any guidelines because then they can't be held accountable. And they think the people in the classes are too stupid and too browbeaten
Right.
by the system to say anything.
Right.
And they kick you out and they're expecting you to say, yeah, I did what you said.
And then
And
all
I'm
the
gonna
lawyers,
take mental health
all
classes.
the lawyers in the system, they all.
I think I'm reaching like a point of being too high, too high to be on YouTube. I'm gonna call it there. I'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll pick up right where we left off. Thank you for hanging out. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for Grace, Ben, Ruby for providing your perspective. I appreciate it. It's been, I'm super invested in this. I can't wait for tomorrow. All right, I will